Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as I hope and I pray that we always do. I'm not important, just a question asker. My name is Raheem Aljume. I'm going to be the one that's going to be facilitating certain questions today. They may go the way we want them to go, they may not, but it's all about how you see them, how you view them, and your input. I want to say good morning to James Anderson. Good morning, Mr. Anderson. Good to have you with us. You over there on Big O. Good to have you with us this morning, sir. And the phone lines are open 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input. Now, I got to start off by talking about the elephant in the room. I got to start off by talking about the elephant in the room. Now, who saw that debate over the weekend? Who saw that debate? Did y'all see that debate? What do y'all think about it? Now, I've heard people on both sides. When I say the debate, I'm talking about the Herschel Walker and Warlock debate that happened. I think it was Friday, Saturday, whenever it was. Who saw that? What did you think of the debate? Who you think won? And oddly enough, I've seen both sides. I've seen people say that they think Herschel won. I've seen people say that they think that Warlock won. I want to know from you, what do you all think? Did you all see the debate? Who do you think won? A few things kind of stick out to me. One being Herschel Walker. Good morning, Shu G. Good morning to you. One being Mr. Herschel Walker and his props. Now the young lady that was asking the question, the mediator, if you will, she had to get on him several times about his prop, about bringing a prop. She said, you know the rules, you knew the rules, you knew what was said. Good morning, Cecilia. Good morning. Say you know Carl. Good morning to you, Carl Davidson. Good morning to you as well. The phone lines are open 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input. Talking about the debate right now. And what do you all think about the debate? Some people say that they think that Herschel won. Some people say that they really feel as though Herschel won. Say Warlock Hood hid behind some of the questions. Larry, good morning, Larry. Good to have you. I want to know from you all. Please give me a call. 508-924-3521. Don't have to stay on here long. I want to know who you think won. And I was talking just now about the props, and how Herschel came out there with props, and the mediator, she got on him several times. Talking about you cannot have props. You know what the rules are. Blah blah blah. He tried to get her to stand down on the props. A fake badge. A fake badge. Wow. Rico, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Man, I can't complain out, man. Just out here enjoying another beautiful dark morning, but it feels great.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, good to have you, brother. Did you look at the debate over the weekend, the Walker and Warlock?
Yeah, man, I watched it, man. Then I watched it again last night, man.
Man, give me the real, the dirty, brother. What did you think? What did you think about that debate, man? Who do you think won it?
Well, I think Warnock won, even though I might have been biased anyway. So, I try not to even give my opinion, but my observation is that it pretty much is an example of how politics go all the way around. To
Mm-hmm.
me, conservatives and Republicans are bullies,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll bend and break the rules, and they don't care what you think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every debate that I've watched since I was young, watching Ronald Reagan debate Jimmy
Mm-hmm.
Carter, man, and
Mm-hmm.
Walter Mondale.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I've seen Republicans just bend the rules,
Same playbook.
overstep the boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
And so I saw it again last night. Well, I saw it again last night when I watched it again, and when I watched it the first time. And so, it sort of shows me that the Democrats, they're trying to be too compliant sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Every now and then they raise up a funk, but then it's like, okay, let me go back into my nice shell, and
Mm-hmm.
and they don't have any thought behind it. But Republicans, they just like nonstop incessant
Yep.
on making sure. that they're gonna have their will, they're gonna have their way, and they never let up. So it's like we'll forget and move on to the next. You know what I'm saying? While they still make sure in the background they got something moving to get their goal accomplished. But
Mm-hmm.
I noticed how he didn't pay attention to the rules.
None.
It seemed like they gave him more leeway.
Yep. Yep.
But then on the other end, what I didn't like about Warnock is that he could have just straight up answered the question.
Yep. Yep.
Instead of letting Herschel Walker have a talking point, room to breathe on he won't answer the question. Because a couple of times he could have just said, no, that's a lie. But sometimes people are so prepared and so political that they have to go into this spiel when they could just actually say flat out, no, that's a lie. Those people are lying. We will prove that.
Now, let me ask you this. I'm going to ask you the question like this right here. Do you think a lot of times, and you said it, but I want to, I want to kind of harp on it just a little bit. Do you think that the Democrats sometimes are just being too nice? They're just being too nice, man. Sometimes you got to grab the throat and rip the throat out. Do you think that's what the Democrats should do sometimes? Because the Republicans don't have a problem with doing it. They don't do it in the right way. They don't, like you say, they don't follow the rules, and they're pick a poison, and they'll run with that poison to the very end. No, it's against the rules. When he pulled out their prop, she had to tell him like he's a child 5 or 6 times. You know what the rules are. You agree to the rules. You know, blah 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 blah. He kept going and kept going and kept going and kept going, and then he finally settled down, and they was able to move on. But she had to treat him like a child, really, and he knew what the rules were.
Yeah, I mean, she did. I mean, but that's not the first time. They had to do Donald Trump the same way.
Yes, all the time.
So, I mean, once again, how should we handle this? Should we just always follow the debate and just concentrate on this one thing? Or should we just make a point to recognize that this is something that they always do, and this is something that needs to stop and needs to be addressed? I'm pretty sure people could probably go back and make sound bites from debate after debate, from city to state to top government, where this happened. That technique, I call it a technique.
Yep.
And to a certain extent, this is the thing that makes me not trust politics. Because I think maybe if this allows some of the problems that happens to continue to happen. How sometimes you can seem like you're making a fight, or you can actually make it look like you're making an effort to do a job, but really and truly you're making the least effort. And so sometimes I really do believe that sometimes for the bigger good of the system, that they mean to make this happen, let this happen. I mean, prime example, let's go beyond this. The 9/11 investigation. Biggest tragedy, terrorist attack or whatever, unless you want to call Pearl Harbor or the dropping of the atomic bombs a terrorist attack in my mind. But why wasn't that investigated? Why did the Democrats just let that go? Why did they just go along with the flow when George Bush said, oh, we're in a recession? And then Obama came along and said, well, yeah, you know what? We're not gonna have an investigation because we can't afford it right now. It'd be too bad on the economy. No, wait a minute. No. Out of all the things in the world, you should want to find out what happened.
Yep.
To the smallest degree. But they just let it go home. I mean, sometimes here it is. We as a community, a society, as a species of human beings, not just in America but around the world, look at those buildings fall and let them go ahead and go along with the narrative. And we're not doing anything about it. It's like we can't do anything about it.
It's almost
so
like
system in place.
And it's almost like it's almost like they're saying in a roundabout way that the lives that were lost just don't matter. If you're not going to go investigate and find out what the cause was and what happened, it's almost like they're saying that those lives did not matter. And there's a lot of people that lost their lives in both situations.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, okay, well, it ain't that big a deal. We'll just let it go, and it just goes down in history like that. But look what happened. The same thing they did with John F. Kennedy. All was one bullet. It was one bullet. But when you look at it, no matter how much they splice the film, you can look at it and tell, man, that was two
That
different
was two.
bullets
Yeah.
hitting him, man.
Yep.
One bullet cannot do that. And
Exactly.
you are telling me that they're gonna keep beating this story down our throats, and we have these questions, but they just ignore it and move on with politics as usual. Now we can start and go and fight all these wars and keep spending money in the military, but we can't spend money to investigate 9/11. So I mean,
It doesn't make sense.
they dictate the narrative, and so that's why when you said that about how the Democrats just seem to just roll over and play nice all the time, or just refuse to play dirty like they play, I think it's intentional.
Mm. Rico, I can't see the truth of the matter. I can't see it changing though, because it's almost like everybody have their own playbook and they have to play out of that playbook, and that's what they're gonna stick to. They're not gonna waver from the playbook. The playbook says we have to do this. The playbook says we have to do this. In sport, say in football, they say if you need 4 yards, the playbook say you do this play right here because that's how we're gonna get them the 4 yards. You don't want to do anything outside of that. And that's what I think the Democrats and the Republicans are doing. I think both of them are doing the same thing.
Right. Right.
Like I say, with Trump, you look at all the debates that Trump had. I don't care who he was debating. It was the same thing. Disorder, disrespect. Look at Herschel Walker. Disorder, disrespect. Look at all of them. Like you said, go back and look at all of them, and it's the same playbook. They're gonna do the same thing. Now, Trump, I think Trump took it to a whole different level. I think he took it to a different level. And now people are starting to fall in, even with Herschel Walker, he's falling in suit with what Trump did. He took the playbook a little further, and now Herschel, he was rude and disrespectful, very rude and disrespectful to the moderator, and that to bring out that little fake badge, man. Come on, Herschel, come on, man. Herschel, come on, man.
I mean, when she said, she told him a number of times, you knew the order, you knew the process.
Yep.
You knew not to bring out a prop, and he just ignored that.
Yep.
Keyword, he ignored that. I could look in his face and tell when they first started, and she said, this is the way that it's gonna go. He already had his mind made up. Nah, I'm gonna say what I want to say and do it. And so he did it. Now I got to respond to that. Now you gotta let me respond to that.
Yeah.
And the Republicans, they good at that, man. And I noticed in all these debates, the Democrats always seem to get cut short or just go ahead and comply. So it's almost like, that white dominant male mindset, that alpha male mindset. Even the black guys have it because it's the tactic, it's the technique of controlling the narrative. I think about the word polarization and how you can use propaganda and polarization. You could keep making a talking point, and once you have everybody's attention and you feed them something sensational, you can get them out of their rational mind and make them start thinking with their emotional mind. So what he did last night was a lot of times he didn't even address the issue. He kept on bringing up, he's Joe Biden. He kept using that propaganda. He was trying to rile people up. The same thing that they did to get these KKK crowds and what Trump did to rile everybody up. You know what I'm saying? He's using that talking point, that narrative to make sure he gets it to stick in your mind. And that's what with some people, they started clapping when he made pretty decent remarks. But they didn't care whether they were true or not. They were just good sound bites. It sounded good. The truth didn't matter. So, you have to look at things like that with an open mind and not get caught up in the emotional side of it. I try my best to stay rational. And I listen to the information, but at the same time, I watch if people actually stay in order. If a question is asked, I want to hear the answer to that question. And sometimes that answer should be just a yes or a no. When they go into too much field, then I know, okay, let me find out a little bit more about this. Let me investigate. So I think that's what hurt Warnock to me. Now, overall, he won. But to some people, that's going to stick out that he didn't answer that question. Regardless of all the good things that he said, when he refused to answer those certain questions that Herschel Walker brought up that he should have responded to, some people going to use that as a reason to say, nope, he crooked. You see, why did he deny it? Why didn't he just come on out and say it? And that's true. Come on out and say it. Quit beating around the bush. Be straightforward. That way people will trust you. They'll know beyond a shadow of a doubt. You said with a guarantee that's a lie. That lawsuit is not true. Don't even go to talking about, well, this is the game that they play. These are the people that they bought up to make. No, just tell them this is not true.
There's no facts in what he just said at all, and this is why.
Exactly.
And
Absolutely not true.
exactly, and take it right there. How did you feel about when Warlock said two things, and that's when Herschel Walker pulled out that prop? I've never pretended to be a police officer, or I've never had a shootout with a police officer. Um, that sparked something in Herschel, and that's why he pulled that prop. And I truth of the matter, I think he was just waiting on the right opportunity because he knew that was going to come up. He knew in this debate that's something they was going to talk about. It had to come up because that was one of the big issues that's been talked about on TV for so long now. So I think he was really waiting on that opportunity to pull that prop out. But with Warlock saying that, what do you think that did to Herschel?
I mean, it really made him. It revealed who he really was.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and to be honest with you, Herschel better had known that was gonna come up. Imagine if R. Kelly got out and decided to run for president. What you think gonna come up?
Oh yeah, this situation. This situation.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He better had known that all this stuff was gonna come up. So yeah, he had his prop. He actually bought it, man. So that, and then when he said that he didn't need any more therapy, he was good. I ain't got no more problem no more. I mean, man, come on. You in denial, man. That's like a person that was once alcoholic.
Exactly.
They're always gonna say that they're in recovery. You know, so man, I think it made him look bad. I think Warnock just, pointed out the truth. Regardless of anything y'all say. Anything y'all want to bring up about my past, people saying that they're suing me for this and that, evicting them for $30 being past due. Believe that if you want to. That's right. That's mighty mean and nasty and petty also if a court, let that happen.
Yeah.
But guess what? This man been lying about being a policeman. I ain't never did that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have never threatened to have a shootout with the police. So you choose.
Yeah. Who do you want? Who?
I mean, to me, that's the biggest part. To me, that's the biggest thing that people should take away from that is that man's behavior.
Yeah. Yeah. Or lack of. Rico, I gotta say something to you, brother. And I'm gonna say this on air. We'll talk about it for a few minutes. We're not gonna stay on it too long, man. But I'm proud of you, Rico.
What's that?
Man, Alabama took that loss. And how you went on Facebook and you say, look here, really true. I saw the post that you put, and you say, really, they should have lost three. They should have lost 3 games, and you pointed out some of the things that they were not doing. That and you say some heads should roll and stuff like that. Or, some people should lose their jobs. And I was like, man, this dude, man, he ain't hiding behind it. He ain't hiding or trying to defend. That they lost. He's telling them what happened and how they've been messing up for the last couple of games. And he said, they should have lost. Really, they should have. I think you say something to the fact that they should have lost 3 games. I was like, wow, he's telling the truth. He's telling the truth. That's his team, and I know how much you love the Roll Tide, but the truth is the truth. And you spoke that, So that's why I say I'm proud of you, man. A lot of people, when their team lose, they're gonna make all kind of excuses. Oh man, we this or we ain't that or we blah blah blah. No. You say this is what's going on in Alabama right now. It's this,
right,
and it's this,
right.
And they should have lost 3 games by now. They got lucky and they won those other games. It just came out today and they lost. Go ahead, speak on that, brother.
Nah, I mean, when people say keep it real or keep it 100, I mean, what else is it supposed to mean?
Yeah.
Or when you call it being accountable, when the truth is what it is, that is what it is. I mean, true enough, the referees did play a part in it, and some of them calls they were sort of suspect. But no wide open touchdown, the referees didn't have nothing to do with that. They didn't throw the ball, they didn't block, they didn't defend that receiver, or they didn't run that route. That was just, hey, you got beaten, you weren't ready, you weren't prepared. So I think I told y'all last week or week before last. It's hard for me to actually give a story that I know that really is true about somebody else and try to give a fake name. I'm so real that when I tell y'all these stories, I don't even know how to give y'all a fake name. Yeah. I really don't. I have to catch myself. I can tell on myself sometimes, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I know what to tell.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's just about accountability, man. I mean, if you can't hold yourself accountable or the people you love accountable for the part they played in success, in failure, then don't give them credit when they play a part in success. But you should give them credit in the part they played in that too.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to, just as much as we praise them, we have to also let them know where they may need to improve.
Mm-hmm.
And when you refuse to address that, then it'll come back to bite you like it did with that game or with anything else. In my situation with my son, there are plenty of things I have to hold myself accountable for. I probably could have been out of this situation a lot sooner had I made some different decisions. I might be forgiven for them. I might not be forgiven for them. But, at the point in time when I was thinking, maybe I was thinking with the wrong, I had the wrong priorities in place. Maybe I was depressed, but I have to still hold myself accountable. So, yeah, man, I mean, I just keep it real like that, man. I mean, some people can't do it. They can't accept, the truth, or they can't accept putting fault or blame on people that they love. I love unconditional loyalty. But if I really want the best for you, then I got to let you know where you messed up at or where your flaws is, so you won't continue to mess up.
Exactly. And that's good, bro. I applaud that, man, all day long, twice on Sundays, man, because my Steelers. I mean, you know how I feel about my Steelers, man. We had lost 4 in a row, man. We had lost 4 in a row. Finally came back and won one. But man, I told everybody, I said, man, what's going on with this defense? What's going on with your team? I said, man, our defense is terrible, man. Our run defense is absolutely terrible. They did better. They did much better yesterday. Man. But I'm afraid of our run defense, man. A good running team, man, they'll run over us, run right down our throat, man, if we don't play like we played yesterday. And it's been showed, man. The way Buffalo beat us, man, I told everybody, I said, man, Tomlin have to come back and respond to that. He got to come back, man, because I think it was like 38-3. Man, we got to come back and respond to that, man. And then I looked at the schedule. I said, oh Lord, we got Tom Brady next. I said, oh Lord, this ain't gonna be pretty. Because Tom Brady is Tom Brady, and he know how to manage the game. He know how to win a game. And so, it worked out pretty good yesterday, man. It worked out pretty good. Now, we got a tough game. I can't remember exactly who we play next. I looked at the schedule the other day, but I can't remember. It won't come to me right now. But we got another tough game coming up. Got a tough one, man. It's gonna be tough. Rico, let me ask you a question. Anything you want to say? Anything else you want to say on that, brother? Before we move on.
Well, that sort of goes back to that mindset. I take that back to politics too. Holding yourself accountable and actually listen to what the politicians are saying. Are they right? Have they voted right? Are they telling the truth? And is the reason you support them a righteous reason? I mean, when you start listening to the reason why people debate about abortion, sometimes you have to just keep it real. You have some with feminism, you have some people say, well, it's a woman's choice. It's a woman's choice. And it's true. It is a woman's choice. I mean, to me, yesterday, both of them were sort of saying the same thing. But for some reason, once again, why is it that people just can't come to that agreement that there is a reason that it should be necessary for a woman to have that option?
Exactly.
I mean, you have to dig a little deeper. You know what I'm saying? Because if you ain't careful, you'll listen to different people and you'll think they have a different opinion, and then they try to let you know or go against each other to tell you they have different opinions, but you'll hear both of them say the same thing. Herschel Walker pretty much said that I'm against it, but at the same time, I think it is justified when a little girl has been raped or something. You get what I'm saying? Or when a woman's life is in danger.
Yeah.
But Warnock pretty much believes the same thing. But if he don't say it the way Herschel said, the voters gonna take that and use that as a reason to dismiss who they're gonna vote for. So it's like, just be real with yourself and tell the real reason why you vote for some of these people.
Exactly.
If it's because of money, you want to stay out of a certain tax base or whatever, or just say that's what it is. But don't use other reasons
and
say that's the reason why you don't support somebody.
Absolutely.
I think they play that same game, man. They just, the community, the society, the public, we're not really honest about what we want in politics or in government. So we really don't vote the way that, our heart tells us. Low income white people voting Republican. Think about it. What is it that they're hearing that makes them think that they should vote and go along with white nationalists and elites?
Exactly.
I mean,
some folks,
when you start thinking, what is your base? So yeah, man. you have to just keep it real, man, and admit the reason why you vote the way you vote. Admit the reason why you don't take care of your children. All these different things, man. People have to be open and honest about why they do what they do, and not try to blame everybody else because they do have choices.
Mm-hmm.
Hold yourself accountable.
Exactly, exactly. And a lot of people, man, truth of the matter, a lot of people are gonna vote for Herschel because he's not Warlock. And that's just what it is. They're gonna vote for Herschel Walker, you know, regardless of how terrible of a candidate he is. All the stuff that they see, all the stuff that's on the table, all the stuff that's come out about him, they will vote for him. They will vote for Herschel Walker because he's not Warlock. They want to get Warlock out of that seat, and they'll vote for somebody else. They'll vote for anybody. They'll vote for their puppy, man. I vote for my puppy instead of voting for him, and put the puppy in office because they just don't want Warlock in office. Not saying that he's the best, not saying that all the stuff that he do is the best. And no. I wouldn't say that at all. But at the same time, look at the track record, look at the individuals, and vote based on the individual of the characteristics of the individuals, man. And I can't see, if you put them apples and apples, there's no way that this thing should really even be close. I'm thinking.
Shouldn't be. I mean, if you ask yourself, how is he even in this where he is now?
Mm-hmm.
So you think about his status, his celebrity,
mm-hmm.
his history. A legendary history in sports.
Mm-hmm.
He is sort of what you call a unicorn.
Mm-hmm.
He's on some Jim Brown type of stuff as far as athletic ability.
Mm-hmm.
And so some people are so distracted by that. They're polarized once again by fame and celebrity. So they allow people like him and Donald Trump to get momentum and pick up favor because they are sort of thinking more emotional than rational.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And they overlook some of the things that they do. I mean, Donald Trump imitated handicapped people, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was up there imitating that man, and he actually still gets 70-something million votes.
Yep.
I couldn't imagine going to church and seeing somebody handicapped and laughing and not getting knocked upside the head.
Exactly.
Being anywhere laughing and imitating and disrespecting somebody handicapped and not even having to apologize for it. I mean, it was a mistake. I didn't know it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so being inconsiderate and disrespectful is being rewarded. Man, it's wild, but he's a celebrity. He was on wrestling being disrespectful and loud and brash, and the crowd was in a frenzy.
Mm-hmm.
They was worked up emotionally.
Yep.
Yeah, look at Trump firing Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
You're fired.
Yeah.
He came from The Apprentice. You're fired. He fired celebrities.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And all the rappers want to be rich like Donald Trump.
Exactly.
So, he used his fame and celebrity, and he knew he had this appeal about himself, and it worked. And, he told everybody I could shoot somebody in the middle of Manhattan and still get elected president. Won't nobody do nothing. And he was telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what happens. People can use that influence, that fame, and that celebrity. So that's what happened with Herschel Walker, probably. Well, that's what has happened. A lot of people voted for him just because they liked the way he ran that football.
Exactly. It has nothing to do with political, not knowing or anything about politics at all. It has more to do with, like you said, his celebrity status, and that's ridiculous to me, because you give this man a responsibility.
That made it more favorable.
Mm-hmm.
His position made it make more sense, but deep down inside, it's just the fact that he was, that he played football. That's the favor that he really has.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. And see, people don't understand what it is, man. You're giving this man all of his responsibility for the state of Georgia. You're giving this man all this responsibility, and he's not qualified. He's not qualified at all. Has no idea what he's doing or what he should do, or what. Okay, even if he win, what do I do next? You have no idea, brother. None. None. And so that's
they're talking crazy, talking about people need groceries.
Yeah. Everybody need groceries. Everybody need grocery, but not groceries.
You don't even put the S on it.
Yeah, not groceries. I'm like, what?
Man, can you imagine him representing the people?
Exactly. Man, they're gonna think everybody in Georgia like that dude, man. Nah, man. Everybody ain't man, no, don't do that. But I'm gonna change up on you for a second, man. I want to ask you this question right here. This is a topic that came to me, and I want to speak to you on it. And other people gonna start coming in. We're gonna continue this conversation. But what is the difference? What is the disconnect in regards to chivalry? What is the disconnect in regards to chivalry? Because some women will tell you, and it's it's crazy to me because I open the door for a woman, do different things, because I was raised that way. But a lot of times when you open the door, a lady will tell you in this day and time, I don't need you to open my door. I open the door for myself. Rico, what is wrong with that, man?
Well, it's a number of things, man. Once again, being a bad guy has become sort of favorable and profitable. You know, I don't know if you remember at a time when we were coming up where people were saying they love roughnecks and they love thugs.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I remember when I was younger, how women would say, "Man, I like you. You street smart, but you book smart too.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You a thug, but you book smart too." And I'm like, yeah, I can remember when I made that decision because being nice actually started being looked at as being soft.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Mm-hmm.
entertainment and media started glorifying the Rambo, Commando. What I was saying about that Republican is always about war and guns and being tough. I think that took over and it got to a point where, you start associating that with being rude and disrespectful because it became rewarded. It became profitable. If you think about it, you see different movie scenes that stand out
Mm-hmm.
where people were just disrupting. Nicholson did.
Mm-hmm.
You can't handle the truth in the
Yeah,
middle of
yeah,
court.
yeah.
Man, that was a lot of disruption. I mean, you have these different scenes where you see people just out of order. So I think being nice and being kind and being cooperative started being looked upon as being soft. And then you take the feminist movement, you know what I'm saying, that they don't want women to be too soft because being soft is being considered being submissive,
Mm.
being barefoot and pregnant, just being told what to do. You know what I'm saying? So if you got to open the door for me, now come on, I ain't that weak. I can open my own dang door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What you trying to say? I'm weak? What you trying to say? I
Yeah,
can't
you
open
just
up?
being too nice.
Yeah, exactly. Mm.
Oh, I can remember being told by women that I was too nice. You too good to be true. You too nice. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. I thought I was supposed to make sure I was respectful and kind.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what's going on? So I knew some people weren't being taught that.
Yeah.
Just like I knew that some men weren't being taught to look a man in his eye and how firm to give a firm handshake.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, you hate to say chivalry is dead and Southern hospitality doesn't exist anymore. Hospitality, but to a certain degree, man, this dog eat dog world mindset made courtesy a weakness.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't be too courteous and people will step over you in today's world. I mean, it's like, hey, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, the have-haves and the have-nots don't have.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll tell, if you hear it from some people, they'll tell you, well, look, man, if you ain't got it, it's because you ain't trying.
Mm.
But look what some people have to do to get it. They have to not care about other people. They have to step on other people.
Yep.
They have to not worry about what they did to you. That's your loss. You should have been paying attention, So we live in a world where it's every man for himself. People will take advantage of you. People are opportunistic. And in the process of that, if you open the door for them, don't mean they're going to open the door for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And in some situations, man, they'll walk in and see you coming and let the door just close right in your face, man, and not even care about you. Go on about their business.
Man.
Come on.
I was matter of fact, this just happened. This just happened this past Saturday, man. I found an opportunity to go make a little easy money.
Mm-hmm.
And so the woman that I went with at the end of the night, I pulled up to this gate and she was going to have to open the gate to let me in. Now, mind you, the stuff that we were doing when we got to Birmingham, she ain't introduced me to nobody or nothing. So I just had to figure everything out on my own, which was cool because I like to have control and order for what I'm doing. When I figured it out, I pretty much took over.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, I pull up and she just sitting there looking at me.
Mm.
I'm like, okay, she see I'm trying to get in the gate. Why won't she open the gate? So I rolled down the window. I said, hey, open the gate. She's like, oh, Rico, I didn't know that was you.
Wow.
I said, it shouldn't have mattered that it was me.
Exactly. Just open the gate.
I'm thinking to myself, let's open the gate. I mean, what are you doing? Well, because I went, and so she went to try to open it after I already put my car in park and got out and opened it myself. I'm like, well, I'm out now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know it was you. I said, well, I figured you was just out of kindness.
Yeah.
And so that was big to me. That little simple situation really showed me how
Mm-hmm.
people were acting. They
Yep.
don't know you, or if you're not beneficial to them,
Mm-hmm.
they don't care what you're doing. They don't care who you are. I ain't fixing to be kind because
Mm-hmm.
it calls for a time to be kind or courteous.
And see, my whole thing with that, Rico, and the sad reality of it is this, man. It really don't cost you anything to be nice to somebody, to be kind and to be helpful. It doesn't cost you. It's not gonna cost you. In certain situations, now sometimes it can. Sometimes it can cost you because people take advantage of you and different things like that. But I think as a whole, in the whole scheme of things, man, I don't think it costs you anything to be. It don't cost you anything to hold the door for that person. It wouldn't cost her anything to open the gate for you. If the gate, it that's not. I don't think that costs you anything. I really don't. It could cost you not to do it because now you can look at her in a certain way because of the fact that she didn't do it, and now you look at it. It don't cost. Rico, help me out, brother. Help me understand. I might be off on this
Yeah,
statement.
just a step in when you see somebody needs assistance, or you could actually make something easier for somebody,
Mm-hmm.
and it
Mm-hmm.
don't hurt you. It
Yeah.
don't take nothing but for you to just stand there and hold the door for an extra second or two.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I mean, I hold the door open for me.
Yeah.
You know
Me
what I'm
too.
saying? If
Me
I'm
too.
going in a door and I see they getting out of the car and they about 2 or 3 seconds away, I just don't let it slam in their face.
Exactly.
I'll hold it on till they get there. I might
Mm-hmm.
not let them walk past me, but they'll grab the door, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes they say thank you, sometimes they don't.
Yeah. Exactly.
But it's just, man, I don't get it, man. I see it all the time, people not
Mm-hmm.
being courteous. So, when they say chivalry is dead, to a certain extent it is. I mean, it doesn't pay to be courteous. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't pay to hold the door open sometimes. But, sometimes I guess to me, that's just going to be a habit that I
Yeah.
have. If I see a woman taking her trash out and she's having a hard time throwing it in the dumpster or whatever, and you know how sometimes women could be too prissy. It
Mm-hmm.
might be leaking or something. They don't want to get their hands dirty. And you want me to help you with that?
Mm-hmm.
If
Mm-hmm.
you're an older person,
Yeah.
man, it's all about just being humane, I guess, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Exactly.
being chivalrous is being, humane.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Brother Pete, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Doing good this morning. How about you, sir? DKM Radio
Hey,
panel, listen all this morning glow.
yes, sir. Doing good, doing good. Asking a question. Well, first, before we get there, man, did you see that debate over the weekend?
I, I heard just a little bit of it. Herschel didn't do too bad.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when he shined that bad, when he raised that badge, though, well, that was it.
What's wrong with it, man? What's wrong with Herschel, man? Tell me what's wrong with him.
Hey, man, he like a special whole band of people all wrapped up in himself.
Mm-hmm.
Just have to see which one we dealing with when you deal with him. A man is something serious.
Yeah.
He's something serious, and I can just imagine him up on Capitol. I vote for us to raise the flag as we burn it and establish it as the rag that we use to fly. What? Okay.
That's who y'all voted in.
Take the mic from him. Take the mic from him quick, please.
Look, mute his mic. Mute his mic right now. Mute it. Don't turn his mic back on. Don't turn his mic back on. Whatever you do, don't turn his mic back on. Also asking the question, what is the disconnect regarding chivalry? What is the disconnect regarding chivalry? And I'm asking a question along these lines right here. If you say you want to open the door for a young lady, or just be a gentleman, if you will. A lot of ladies will tell you in this day and time, I don't need you to open the door for me. I can open the door for myself. What you think I'm weak and all kind of stuff. So I'm asking the question, man, what is the disconnect in regards to chivalry?
We're in a cultural, social.
Your mic is just a little bit low, brother.
Okay, we're in a cultural. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah,
Can
there
you
you
hear
go.
me better now?
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
We're in a cultural, social war.
Mm-hmm.
Morals, principles are under assault. The positionings to change. It's a social engineering type thing. So, while it hasn't gone anywhere, the old ways, the old school ways, are very much still present.
They got them a new truck. That's the security.
Mute your line, Tucson.
And see, they fighting for us to get trucks and cars in the different colors. But the thing is, we're in a social war, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the moral premise and different things are under assault to change. But the old school ways are still very much prevalent.
Mm-hmm.
This is why being rooted and grounded in yourself, knowing yourself,
Pete, let me
knowing
ask you
your
this question:
stand.
who's exercising the old? Who's exercising the old ways? Is there a lot of people that's actually exercising them in this day and time? Because some guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I see it all the time. Just a week ago, about 5 in the morning, I stopped at a convenience store, and I was amazed at how everybody was holding the door for everybody else constantly on the
Mm-hmm.
way in, on the way out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just sat there for about 5 minutes and observed how everybody, all genders and ethnicities, were being courteous to one another just repetitively.
Mm-hmm.
I just sat there and looked at that and I said, Now, we hear these narratives so often about all the different options and variations and experiences that we have that exist that are real.
Mm-hmm.
But I sat there and just watched for 5 minutes and everybody was humane, they were courteous, they were civil to one another, and I doubt very seriously that they knew each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it's also something that's being pushed on us as a narrative, while it's very real and prevalent and present,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I hold the door for people like my brother Rico was saying. I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I did the same thing this morning. But I also have a little joke behind mine because I hold the door for a man, and as he walks through, I catch up to him and say, "You know why I did that?" And they be like, "No, why?" I said, "Because I respect my elders." Then I'll walk off. Give him a little laugh first thing in the morning. And oftentimes, I'm very silver on my face.
Mm-hmm.
So oftentimes they'll laugh and then they'll turn and look and say, "Hold up, man. Who you calling the elder?" You looking like the elderly up there. But it get your day started, have a moment, get a little laugh, get a little smile, ease a little tension, keep it moving because
Mm-hmm.
it's really not that serious. We find that most people are just people just trying to survive and live their lives.
Exactly.
And like I say, we're hit with a narrative, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if we keep listening to that drum, then we'll recognize it. What you give energy to, you create and manifest.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget that.
Exactly. Rico, talk to me, brother.
Yeah, I agree, man, and that's where sometimes when you don't realize you are a leader, but when you strike it up, you the one to initiate it. You set the tone. A lot of times people will follow.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you get people's attention and they notice you do something a little different, and they see it don't hurt nothing to do that.
Yeah.
Don't hurt nothing but for me to stand here another second or two.
Mm-hmm.
So let me hold the door open for somebody else. Now they might be distracted in the phone. Sometimes people might be walking around texting and they going back and forth, cussing and fussing.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't paying attention to nobody opening the door for them. They just moving. But I believe that you can set the tone like that. So I mean, you ask, who are the people that's doing it? Is us. It's people like us.
Yeah.
They're showing and leading by example when we don't even realize that people are paying attention. I think that's part of the pay it forward.
Mm-hmm.
Each one teach one. Sometimes we're teaching subconsciously
Mm-hmm.
because somebody realized that made sense. You see how he opened that door for that person because that person had all them bags?
Mm-hmm.
You know what surprised me sometimes is when you can be courteous like that and then people will tell you, "I'm surprised."
Mm-hmm.
Thank
Exactly.
you. I'm surprised you did that. I'm like, what? You had all them bags. You was going to have to put your bags down and open the door and then put your butt up against the door and pick the bags up again. Nah, and I'm standing right here empty-handed,
Mm-hmm.
just walking by or just on the way. Nah. So it's, like I said, to me, it's sort of strange. This is like, I catch myself looking at what's going on when I see the other side of it. And I'm like, what's going on? Now the pay it forward thing, I think that's more of a trend. I think that's more of a keep up with the Joneses.
Mm-hmm.
But just, some small things, some small gestures as far as holding the door open for somebody and saying something kind to them,
Mm-hmm.
Being courteous to the elderly or to a woman or saying, "Hey, how you doing, young man?" Stepping in and being an assistant, an asset to a situation where you can be an asset or contribute to it to be positive. I believe in helping and assisting people when they need help and assistance instead of watching them struggle or going through too many extra things, and I could be just that person to make something a little easier for them, and it don't hurt me at all.
Mm-hmm.
All it takes is for me to just hold the door or even just give somebody a piece of advice. Hey, be careful, man. You might want to stop at that stop sign. The police sitting down there.
Exactly.
You should be stopping anyway.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna go ahead and tell you because I see y'all like to run it. Y'all might want to stop today.
Mm. We'll tell you, it brings back to mind when you was talking, Rico, that situation with a young lady. It was a while back. You probably remember this well. She was knocked. She had an SUV, big vehicle, and she was on. She was in the middle of the road. People just riding by her, and I pulled over and helped her, and a couple other guys came and we pushed her out the road. She had ran out of gas. She was right there at the gas station. We pushed to make sure she got in a spot where she can actually get some gas in her vehicle. And she looked at me. She said, I'm surprised. I'm surprised you stopped and helped. I said, well, I don't understand. What are you talking about? Then you're driving a certain vehicle, blase, blase, blase. Most of the time when a person is driving a certain vehicle, they're not going to stop and help you. Vehicle to me is just a car. It don't. I don't get caught up in all that foolishness. And for her to even say that, for her to think that because a person is driving a certain vehicle, they can't be humane and help you. That was kind of rough to me, man. That was kind of rough, Rico. You remember that story I'm talking about? I think I shared it on here.
Yeah, I remember.
Mm-hmm.
I remember.
I was like, wow.
I mean, I guess she can't believe that you could relate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because think about it, so many more people probably rolled by with vehicles that was not as good as yours, or probably was, just in bad a shape as hers. They just looked at her and kept going.
Yeah.
Remember the 4 people that was watching my brother drive?
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
I mean, just think how courteous that could have been. Look, before we even went and changed clothes to jump in the pool, I'm watching them swim like dolphins. Wow, look at them. So I guess, my mom and the adults thought, well, since those people out there that know how to swim, if something happened with these kids, they'll help them. They didn't help. They watched.
Wow.
They were not courteous enough to swim like a dolphin over there to help my little black brother.
Wow.
Drowning. So, it
cold,
goes
bro.
deeper than just opening the door for people sometimes.
Wow.
Just being, assisting people or helping somebody when they're in need, whether it's a small thing or a big thing. Like I said, it's strange to me. I don't understand
it. It doesn't.
So, but I do understand that woman having that thought process about you. I know where it comes from. It's strange to me. But if I look at it from her point of view, I think to myself, well, what would make her say something like that? And what makes her say something like that is the fact that if anybody probably should, well, I don't feel like touching her and helping her. I don't feel like breaking her sweat and then have to get back in this car after I've been pushing her and sweating. Who want to get back in a Mercedes all sweaty? It's a perception. But she was surprised that you got out and helped her when there was so many more other people that passed by that could have and didn't.
And this was and this was on Scenic. Rico, you know about Atlanta, the Atlanta area. This is on Scenic Highway, man. And Scenic is a very busy road, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And imagine the amount of people in both directions going right by her, man. Not even paying attention. Not even giving a hoot. Not even giving a hoot at all, man. On Scenic Highway, man. As busy as Scenic is, you'll never find Scenic Highway empty. Never. And this was in the middle of the day. Wow.
A woman. It's that.
Exactly. Badger, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Hope everyone's having a blessed day.
Hey, doing a good job. Hey, doing the best we can at it, brother. Definitely doing the best we can at it. Badger, we asking a question about what is the disconnect in regards to chivalry? What is the disconnect in regards to chivalry? And I mean that in this way right here. A lot of times being gentlemen, and we all on here are gentlemen. We'll open the door for a woman. If she's in need of something like that, we're going to do what we can do to help. That's just who we are. Some women will say, I don't need you opening the door for me. I don't need you. What you trying to say? Why you got to open the door for me? I can open the door for myself. What you trying to call me weak and all these the things that they say? What is behind that, Badger?
Oh, man. You're getting into narratives. Man. With so many things that's happened in America, and I guess you could also say in some other countries as well, that some of the narratives that have been pushed in the way some men do certain things, You know, they'll do it out of control or spite or
Now hold on.
or
Now hold on. We changing gears. We're not talking about the men. We're talking about the women and their mindset and thinking that they don't need nobody. Basically, they don't need no man to do anything for them. They could do it for themselves. They don't need no man to open the door. Why do you think I'm weak or something like that? We're not talking about the men right now. You about to switch gears on. Let's stay with the women.
the women. Well, they wouldn't have been like that if the men wouldn't have got so
Now
egocentric.
you always put it back on the men, brother. We
Because
talking
that's
about,
what history says.
so history says that the women are this way because of the fact that men did these things to them and all this. They have no say so in it at all.
They didn't
Basically,
really get freedom until
but
almost about the same time as around 1960s, 70s.
But see, in your comment, what you're doing in your comment, and I want you to be real careful with this. What you're doing in your comment, you're making the women very, very helpless because you're saying that men did this to men, and you're saying that basically in a roundabout way, you're saying that women never had any power. And you really, if you really pay attention to your comment, what you just said, it's almost like you're saying that the women are powerless.
For a
They
majority,
can't have power
okay.
and be powerless at the same time. But go ahead, explain it to me, brother. Help me
In the
understand.
white man's world, women don't have power. The woman is to obey the man. That's the way it's been for a long time. And they have pushed that narrative on any other race, tribe, indigenous people that they could possibly do. And then there's also other countries that are even worse.
Mm.
I mean, there's the oh, my wife was telling me about it yesterday. In one of the countries, there was a young lady that came from America to go visit her parents, and she was wearing pants. No, wait. Okay, what was it?
From somewhere else in the Middle East.
Came from somewhere in the Middle East. Went home. Where was her home? So essentially, she ended up getting thrown in jail because she was wearing.
She got picked up.
Oh, as you there?
She got picked up by the morality police because her pants were too tight.
Mm.
And the women there went crazy and said no more headscarves.
3 days later, she was dead.
3 days later, she was dead.
Yeah, I think that was in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, I saw that
Okay,
story.
so you know what I'm talking about. So
I saw the story.
that mentality has been pushed for so long.
So
there's going to be women that's going to be messed up, and they're just like my mother, and so on and so on. So I'm not excluding all women.
Mm-hmm. But see, my issue with that, and I could be wrong. You know, got quite a few people on here. As a matter of fact, Captain just called him. We'll go to him in just a second or two. My thing is, we talking about, and we've all concentrated and focused on the women, but you took the honest and you put it directly on the man, and you gave the woman no responsibility in this whole situation at all. And that's where I have the issue at. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Oh, you took me wrong.
Yeah, I mean that's once again that's how like Herschel Walker did last night. You want to. I mean, I see where Badge is coming from, but I think it goes back to what he was saying last week about how he wanted the word thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is what I see. In some instances, women say stuff like that. Once again, like with the girl that was surprised that you helped her. She's surprised to see somebody actually do something like that because she hasn't been exposed to those type of men.
Mm-hmm.
She may not know what it is like to be around a gentleman. But now, in some instances, you have wolves in sheep clothing. Mm-hmm. And see, when you do things like open doors for women or be kind and nice to people, you have the appearance to be a gentleman and be charming. Some people know that that's a technique to appeal to people in a positive way. But then you turn around, how you doing? But then some of those same people turned around and did terrible things. So it's in some cases it might be a suspicion thing. They don't trust it. They're not used to people like that. Boy, they come from people don't do things like that. Remember I said earlier that I met women before they told me I was too good to be true?
Yeah.
How thoughtful I was and how kind it was. It wasn't the material things. It was the respect that they was like, this is strange. To me, it was normal. So, you know, there has been things that happened in history, throughout history, where people used kindness and took advantage of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it hasn't happened in all cases, but it does happen at times where people can be kind to you and then actually set you up. You know, it's almost like the child molester with the candy or the puppy.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So they are suspicious of you because everywhere they've been, when people pretended to be kind and nice, they took advantage of them.
Mm-hmm. Got you.
So I think that's where the disconnect happens too. Because when you look at society, you look at other people's situation, you like, in relationship, you know somebody's cheating on the other, you like, oh, I didn't even know she was cheating on him and he was cheating on her and he looked so nice and he seemed like he was so good. I didn't know he was beating on them children.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know he was touching that little girl. He
Mm-hmm.
seemed so nice. You know, charm, man, you can have a lot of charm by observing it and, like I said, understanding what being kind can do. You know, you have opportunistic and dangerous people out here. You know, this dog eat dog world, people will use that same door they opened up for you to walk in. And as soon as you walk past them, they hit you upside the head. Bloop.
Yeah. Wow.
Give me that watch.
Mm-hmm. 50.
So I mean, you know, I can understand why it's, people are suspicious now in these days and times.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input. 508-924-3521. Asking the question, what is the disconnect in regards to chivalry? What is the disconnect in regards to chivalry? Meaning, a lot of times when a gentleman try to do something real nice for a woman, open the door, if you will, they would say something like, I don't need you to open the door for me. Make the man feel bad about trying to be kind to him. I don't need you to open the door for me. I could open my own door. What you trying to say? I'm weak or something? I can't open my own door? Captain, what does that say to you? What does that mean? And good morning. How you doing this morning?
Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm doing fine. Thank you for asking.
Yes, sir.
To be honest with you, dear brother, I think all women like to be catered to. I don't know no women who don't like to be catered to. And if they have a problem with men being men or being gentlemen, then clearly that's a small, very, very, very small percentage.
Mm-hmm.
The average woman don't mind seeing a man be a man.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it is kind of somewhat being very rare in a society that is promoting a lot of masculinity as it relates to some of our women. I think society has played a role in making women believe that they should be independent, and somehow they get independent kind of messed up with men respecting them and trying to just be a gentleman. I think that the majority of women don't mind chivalry. I think the majority of women love to see men open up the door for them, love to see men greet them in a way that makes them very much feel this is the benefits of being a woman. But I just think, to be honest, Raheem, I just think that the majority of women love to see men be men and treat them the way they need to be treated. That's my opinion.
Okay, good. Captain, let me ask you this, and I agree with what you're saying. As a whole, I definitely can agree with that. But my thing is this: I've seen some women. You go to them in the morning, and majority when I saw this, majority of the time it is a woman that's doing this. You say good morning, and they're looking and say, well, what's good about it? And I'm like, wow, it's morning time. Your day is already in a way where you even asking what's good about this morning. I've seen women, and it blew my mind. Blew my mind just to have a person that, you know, you trying to be good, you trying to be kind or whatever, and you say good morning, and they look at you talking about what's good about it. That blows my mind. Want to comment on that, Captain? Or we're gonna go to let me see who we got here. Toussaint.
Well, I think basically, dear brother, like again, there are some women that have come from a line of abuse
Mm-hmm.
that they have lost total confidence, or they have lost the trust of men's motive. I heard Brother Rico talked about how, there are men that would take the kindness and use it as a means to entrap
Mm-hmm.
or to take advantage, and that's very real. It's almost like now, man, we're such distrust of each other, and we're so distrustful of each other's motive. It's almost like the sincere person who mean well, motive is questioned. And it's just because we're living in a society where we're losing all of the values of just being human beings, man.
Mm-hmm.
We're just losing all the values. It ain't got nothing to do with man and woman. It just got something to do with being a human being that in the morning you see someone. I think all of us experience getting on the elevator, and you get on the elevator and the people don't even speak.
Yeah.
I mean, you get on there, you got to say, "How you doing?"
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hi. I mean, just common courtesy, man.
Mm-hmm.
What have we become? A damn
Mm-hmm.
nation, a generation of people that
Mhm.
has no more common courtesy.
Mm-hmm.
So we all experience that. But
Yeah.
one thing they can't take away, Raheem,
What's that?
they can't take away my humanity.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can rob me of being the kind human being that I am.
Yeah.
So even if you don't speak, so what?
Mm-hmm.
So what?
Mm-hmm.
I am. You know why? Because I'm a good human being.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Man, I'm gonna tell you what happened. Like I said, everybody, we got a couple people on the phone. I don't want to touch everybody on the phone line as well. Be patient, we're gonna come back to you. But this is what happened. Everybody know my wife and I, we went to Houston, Texas last week. We was in Houston, Texas for a few days last week. On the way there, we parked our vehicle in the little park, airport parking lot, whatever the thing is called, and they had a trolley van that took us, to the airport. And there was a few people on the van already, and we got on. And we got on, sit down, and everybody was quiet, doing their own thing. I said, "Hey, everybody, good morning. How y'all doing?" And that just sparked conversation. Sometimes it just take one person. And my whole point is this: sometimes it just take one person to take that positive side. I got on there, man. I said, "Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing this morning?" "Oh, man, we doing good." And we talked all the way to the airport, man. But I got on the bus, the trolley, if you will, or the van, whatever you want to call it, and just sat down and looked at my phone or just talked to my wife, everybody would have been quiet, man. We met people, we talked to people, went to the restaurant over there in Houston, man, same thing in the little area. I said, "Hey, everybody, how's everybody doing?" When we sat down. And everybody was like, it opened up something. A lot of times, Cap, don't nobody want to open up nothing. I don't know what it is, man, whether they're afraid to do so or what the situation is. They just don't want to do it.
Well, you just got that radio personality. That's all that is. You're getting ready to start another show on that, but that's all that was.
So you look, Captain gonna do me like that, Lord Jesus. Captain gonna do me just like that. But listen, let me go to Cassandra. Cassandra, good morning. How you doing this morning? Pete, come to you next.
Good morning.
Cassandra, and I'm glad you're here because I'm glad you're here, Cassandra. And good morning. I'm glad you're here because you can tell us from a female standpoint. We can't speak on that. We're asking about what is the difference in regards to chivalry. And a lot of times, a man try to be a gentleman, if you will, try to be kind, and he opened the door for a female. I'm just using this as an example. He opened the door for a female, and she said, "I don't need you to open the door for me. What you think? I'm weak or something? I can open the door for myself." Cassandra, what is that mentality?
I don't know, because I don't know where you meet these women or where these women are coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Because the majority, and I'm talking the majority of women that I know, black, white, orange, and green, they love when a man is chivalrous. I mean, it just does something for me, especially our young black men.
Yeah.
And I just noticed that the last week or so, and I was like, wow, all of our young men are not, doing the crazy stuff and, not caring. And, I've had a door, like I'm going in the gas station to pay for gas. It's a man, going in front of me, and he was just let the door slam right in my face
Mm.
almost. And I'm like,
Wow.
what the heck?
Mm-hmm.
But then I've noticed so many young men, I'm talking early 20s, like they'll open the door. I was carrying a box the other day, going to my car, and the young man was standing, smoking his whatever,
Mm-hmm.
smoking, and he saw me coming with the box, and he said, give me 1 second, ma'am, and he put out the little thing and
Mm-hmm.
came over and took the box to my car and put it in my car.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, because I believe that it's not dead. Chivalry is not dead. There's some wonderful, wonderful, wonderful men, and especially our young black men, man. I'm so proud of them when they do stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And any woman that says something stupid like why you open the door? Why would you even say?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are some that are doing it,
Cassandra,
but
let me ask you
I don't
this.
know women like that. I don't know women that would say that.
Cassandra, have you ever seen a situation where you say good morning to somebody, and in my situation, it's been a lot of young ladies I've heard say this. Not a lot, but it's been a few young ladies I've heard say this. You say good morning. They say, well, what's good about it? You're like, whoa, it's morning time. How could you be in a terrible mood and it's morning time? Have you ever experienced?
Well, I live in a senior building,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm so ashamed of some of these seniors. They're 55 and over,
Mm-hmm.
and I walk through I speak to everybody.
Yeah.
It don't
Yeah.
matter
Yeah.
who it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning. How are you today? Hey, how y'all doing? Blah, blah, blah. Everybody that I run into, I do that. And then I get some that won't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
And one day I was walking through, I think it was last week one day, I was walking through, and it was like three of the older ladies sitting there playing cards. And I said, good afternoon, how y'all doing? And one of them spoke and the other two didn't. And as I turned the corner, one of them said, I can't stand her. She always jumbo, what is that,
Wow.
joyous or something?
Wow.
Yeah. And that's why she doesn't speak to me, because I'm always talking to people. What the heck?
You always
Anyway,
jolly.
but yeah.
Just like she hates to do with jolly. She
Mhm.
always jolly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She's always jolly.
Wow.
And she always speaking to everybody. I
Mm.
mean, well, what do you want? And
Mhm.
especially at our age, we might not have many more days to speak. So you need to speak, anyway.
Cassandra.
So stop speaking to him and start singing to him.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh man, see, listen. I
Mm.
don't want to be like Raheem. They'd be running out the door.
Oh, what you trying? Wait
No,
a minute.
stop
Wait
that.
a minute.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good,
How
'cause-
y'all doing this morning? Do the Ozzy's on them. Hello.
I love it. I might have to try that.
But see,
I might have to
my
try
whole
that.
thing is I'm wondering why she punched me in the gut just now. Talking about I don't want to be like Raheem. Talking about my singing is terrible. Why she gonna punch me in the gut?
Why? You know why?
Good morning. Yeah. Oh, see.
Lord.
Yes, that's it. That's it.
Lord.
Now, who I said I was gonna go to next? I said I was gonna go to. I think I said I was gonna go to Pete next. Pete, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
All shapes and sizes, mentalities, and purposes. That's why it's so important, again, to know yourself and just simply be yourself. In spite of the adversity, negativity, the hostility, that has nothing to do with you.
Mm-hmm.
You let nothing disrupt who you are.
Yeah.
That's why it's so important to know thyself.
Mm-hmm.
Study thyself. Respect thyself. Master thyself. So you're rooted and grounded in yourself. So you can just simply be yourself. In spite of all of that. You speak, they don't speak, that's fine. What does that have to do with you? You did your part. Keep going. Keep it moving. Be the person that you are. This is what we mean when we say the majority of people are just everyday folk living their life, and all these hang-ups and these false narratives that we put out here. I don't know nobody that wants to be called by the pigment of their skin.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Black Rob. Hey, white Betty. I mean, who is that?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody.
Yeah.
It's a false narrative. It's just a false narrative to divide us. So if you're simply just yourself and you're a pleasant person, you're a respectful person, you're a cordial person, then do that, because it's all energy at the end of the day. It's all energy. So if you put out good energy, that energy is going to go all the way on the other side of the globe and bounce back.
Exactly.
That's what happens, for real. So be yourself. Stay positive in spite of. We understand these narratives. These people hung up. They bitter. They lonely. They angry. They hateful. They're hurt. So you understand that when you meet a wounded soul, you should be able to quickly identify that you're dealing with a wounded soul. And there's a way to even interact with those that are so angry, that are so hostile, that are so negative. There's a way to deal with them. We have the example of the Christ known as Jesus, who spoke in parables. He said a whole lot in a sentence and keep it moving. And you have to meditate on what he said. It'll hit you later. It might be 2-3 days, weeks, months later. Boom! It'll go off in your head. Oh, that's what he was saying. You know, Southern people have it down.
Yeah.
You walk up to a Southern person and say, hi, how you doing? And they look at you and say, hello. And they just look at you. And then you go to talking and they just looking and you hear them say, You know, that's a whole word, a whole sentence. You know that, right? And then if they say, that's a whole nother sentence. It means something totally different. See? They've been cussed you out and disrespected your ancestors with a smile on their face and send you on your way, and you don't even figure it out till the next day that, whoa, that lady actually wasn't feeling me. She was actually being very disrespectful. All right, now you gone to the loot now. Y'all take care now, you hear? All right, now y'all gone about your way now. Telling you get the heck on. That's what that's what she's telling you. With a smile on her face. Smiling all that. Waving at you and everything. And don't like nothing about you. Come on now.
Exactly. Wow. Right. Wow. Navy, good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. I'm ripping and running this morning. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good. Navy, we're asking a question. What is the disconnect in regards to chivalry? And I'm asking along the lines of this. A lot of time, a young man want to be a gentleman. He want to be a gentleman. He want to open the door for the young lady, and she stopped. She said, "What you open the door for me for? What you trying to say? I'm weak. I can open the door for myself. You think I can't open the door for myself? What is that mentality? And does that happen?"
This probably ain't got nothing to do with what you just asked me, but my first question is, where y'all be meeting these ladies at? Because I don't know.
The same thing as Andrew said.
Thank you, Navy. Thank you, Navy.
Like, I'm like, look, I'm never going to turn that down. Like, and even though, to answer your question, though, I honestly feel like that it comes from exposure, experience, and expectations. And what I mean by that is, like, I'll use myself for an example. Now, y'all know I've shared my story. I grew up a certain way, and that was my experience. And early on, it did shape my mind to never have to depend, never have to rely on anyone, not just a man, but just anyone. But until I got exposed, and again, I credit my uncle and my pops, and my father, my biological father, to a certain degree of giving me the exposure of what like chivalry was, because I saw my uncle opening up the door for my auntie and other women in our family. My pops I call him Belvedere for my mom, because he truly takes care of my mom. So my experiences did shape a reality for me for a period of time, but I got exposed to something, to the realness of it, and not just one paradigm of it, not just one shifting of it. I got exposed to something else, so I got to see what chivalry was. I got to experience what chivalry was as well, despite my past experiences. And when I say expectations, I think that sometimes it's the expectation of, you're giving me this compliment, or you're doing something in an exchange or return for something else. And I think that sometimes whenever you get these women that may be, I don't need nothing from you, bye, or what have you, I think that a combination of those three things, either that are lacking, or that they haven't had enough of, or just their own past experiences, shape that thought process. And it's funny that you asked me that, that this is the topic because one of the memories came up from my Facebook page last year where I was at the gas station and a dude, I was pumping gas. I had pumped my gas and I needed to get air in my tire. Now it's Sunday. I got on a dress and the wind is a little high, but he came over again to introduce himself and asked for my number, but didn't offer to pump the gas, didn't offer to put the air in my tire. So I'm just like, what?
Wow.
So chivalry isn't dead, but it was not on my side on that day.
Wow. Badger, what's on your heart? This joker want a number. He don't want to help. He want a number. Badger, what's on your heart?
I think this is one of those things where, like, honestly, I think it's going to depend. I think it very much depends on the race. Unfortunately. I've predominantly run into white females that have issues with a man opening the door, and a lot of them came because of traumatic experiences.
So they fight against it?
Oh yeah. So a lot of you have to think, like, when I speak of my perspectives, it's not just from an indigenous point of view, but it's also from being around white folks. So it's a different thing to deal with.
Badger, let me ask you this question. Excuse me. Let me ask you this question. Do you think women as a whole, or specifically, do you think white women that's trying to take their power back if they're fighting against it in that way?
Oh yeah. Especially when you have, you know, it's one of those things of a lot of the males I've been around or have had to deal with. I wouldn't even say I don't want to be around them. I just have to deal with them from time to time in social settings. Are still under the mindset that they take the man of the house to the extreme.
Wow.
So y'all's, like, it's so different from my perspective. Like, I always do the Silvers thing. There are some women that I've literally had just stand there, not speak a word, and wait for me to close the door before they open it.
Wow.
Because to them, it's a controlling tactic, and that's all they know.
Wow.
So go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So when I speak or and things like that, I hope some people on the show don't take it so personal. I'm not. If in the black communities it ain't like the way I'm talking, then fine. I'm sharing my experience and my view. So go ahead.
No, and that's all you have, your experiences and your views. Go ahead.
Right. So when I'm speaking on the history and the things like that, it's me seeing. I can't tell you the amount of women I've ran into, predominantly white, that I can't leave my husband, but your husband's abusive. Yeah, but the preacher said that according to the Bible, I can't leave him. I must help him find God. And that is the mentality mindset. So when they actually do get out of those relationships, it's a whole different beast.
Yeah. Wow.
So
wow.
I applaud, but also on like the flip side, it's when people, like with music today, using the B word so much, and then you ask the rapper who's using the B word in their music, is it okay for someone to call your daughter that? And they go no. Then why are you singing and calling women that?
Wow.
So it's, and then there's women that support men like Trump. He's so easy to use as a cannon fodder. Um, so
it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, I think if there were more good men, it wouldn't be such an issue.
I think there's plenty of good men out there, though, brother. I really do.
I'm talking about more than what's here now.
Okay. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input. Curtis, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Morning, Ryan. Morning, bro. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good. You okay, brother?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I had a show in New York this weekend.
Oh, how'd it go?
Yeah, man. I'm good. Oh, it was straight.
Good deal. Good deal.
Oh,
Curtis, we asking a question. What is the disconnect in regards to chivalry? What is the disconnect in regards to chivalry? Say you being a gentleman, you want to open the door for a young lady, and she look at you, she say, I don't need you to open the door for me. What you trying to call me weak? I can open the door for myself. Curtis, what is wrong with that?
Well, I got this saying, chivalry ain't dead. He just went on vacation for a while or so. I really can't say that there's a disconnect. I just can say that there's a misunderstanding. I don't think it's a disconnect. Once you push a group of people to have to do for themselves and fend for themselves, doing for yourself and fending for yourself becomes your first law of man. See, I think there's an element in society, especially men, who are so chauvinistic and so misogynistic that you get what your hand called for. So you've been disrespecting these women for so long, you see what I'm saying? And you've been, mistreating these women in terms of equitable pay. It's just, look, man, like you're in a society right now where it's okay for the dude to pay for the abortion, but it's not okay for the woman to get it. You understand? You're in a society where it's okay right now, it's okay for you to take a woman's birth control away, but you're not dismantling the condom condom companies. They what is it? They have to kill.
Yeah.
You want to do away with it, but then there's nothing written in the legislation to say that, for example, vasectomies are no longer acceptable. Yes, the law. Vasectomy is another form of birth control. So, I believe that you get what your hand called for. And I've personally seen where young women of the day really don't understand. Yeah, and young dudes of the day don't understand it either. I literally have been to the movie theaters and we standing in line to get in the movie. And there's about 4 or 5 Caucasian American females in front of me and my wife. Dude in front of them, dude walking the door. He just walking the door. He didn't even reach back to hold the door. So the girls there in front of me, want to open the door. She opened the door, and she go to hold the door. And I, spin around. Behind me and my wife is an older lady. I spin around and say, "No, sweetheart, you go ahead. I got it." And she, oh my God! They're like, oh, I'm like, yo, chivalry ain't dead. He just on vacation, baby. That's all.
Good deal. Good deal.
And I let the the older lady said to me, "Baby, I'm glad it's still somebody with some sense." But at the same time, you do have that element of females. I've been in that situation too, where I'm holding the door, And she walked through the door, and she like, you didn't have to hold that door for me. I can hold it for myself.
Wow.
Oh, you can't open. You know what I mean? All right, my bad, Queen. I keep it pushing.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I think you give it that. I think it's a situation that, you know, women been mistreated for so long, man, and you know, looked over that. They're just trying to fend for themselves, man.
Good deal. Good
right?
deal.
No.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Five.
It is what it is.
Exactly. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. Is Chivalry dead, or is it on life support, or like Kirk said, they had to take a little mini vacation? Cassandra, what's on your heart? Cassandra?
I'm here.
Okay.
You know what I'd like to see, and I mean, we talk about this a lot. I don't want like my grandboys. My daughter and I had to teach them about chivalry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that. I would have liked to have seen a man in our life that could speak to my grandboys, because I have 4 grandboys, and teach them that, and not us as women have to do it. We really didn't have men around like that, you know, and I think, and that's not a blame game. I just think we need more male presence in our lives, period, point blank. I don't care. We need more male presence. And God is my witness. I think that if there was more male presence, we would not have half of the conversations that we have. We would not have to have them. I'm sorry. I believe that with all my heart.
Wow.
And I don't mean, this is not a blame game. This is reality.
Wow.
This is reality.
Wow. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Cassandra telling the truth, but she ain't just talking about any man. She's talking about a respectable man. Because some of these people got men in their lives, Crips and Bloods and gang bangers and dope dealers, and they just want to be just like daddy.
Wow.
You know? So she talking about a respectable male. Because what I've experienced and what I've seen is there's, man, Navy, once again, look, me and Navy gonna have to do a show, man. We're gonna be the Rick James and Tina Marie. She the professional side, and I'm gonna be the street side. Cause she always stealing what I got to say. I'm gonna hit on two things. The first one is mistrust, and the second one is non-exposure. What I realized in some of these interactions is that not only have young men not been exposed to what it takes to be a gentleman, but some women haven't been exposed to a gentleman either.
Yeah.
So what happens is, in my lifetime, I've been the one to open the door or walk to the passenger side of the car and open the door. She's like, well, what you doing? What you doing? I'm like, she don't know what I'm doing? What you doing? What you doing? You going laughing. What you walking over here for? Oh, I'm just gonna open your door. You can open up. Oh, okay, thank you. Oh, what's this?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, she ain't never been exposed to a gentleman before. So now I'm leading by example, and I'm exposing her to that. Now, after a while, they might not even see the purpose in that, because they done been brought up not only to fend for themselves, but not being exposed to that. So it ain't no big deal to them. After a while, they might say, oh, you ain't got to worry about that.
Wow.
You ain't got to open the door. And that's when you're like, well, wait a minute, you ain't going to let me be a gentleman? You know, we say sometimes, when some of these women going to let men be men? Sometimes they won't let you be a gentleman, but it ain't because they don't like it. It's just because they ain't used to it, and they don't see the necessity in it. They don't see the reasoning behind it. But we understand it, you know, that this is what a man's supposed to do. Maybe they don't have that understanding of what the roles are, because they've never been exposed to that.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's one reason on both ends. But now, protection measures. First, and before I go into the mistrust, the other woman did a experiment one day with her phone camera. She put her phone in her back pocket and turned the camera around just to see how many people were going to look at what she was working with when she walked past. And oh my goodness, you wouldn't go not look, because it was women even looked. But one dude, an old man, he opened the door. Hey, come on, I got the door for you. Chivalry isn't dead. She walked on past him, and then she stopped and she said, chivalry is dead. He looked down at her, man, and he looked like he was 15 years old. You could read his lips. He said, ooh, wee. You could see.
Yeah.
He said she was working with it. That's why he wanted to open the door for her. He took advantage of the opportunity to look at her donk. So, you know, women, they sort of have this mistrust about men taking advantage of opportunities to be jealous. Okay, now, I know I've said this plenty of time before. 8 out of 10 women, I ain't got to say women I've dated, just women that I've met and had deep conversations with when you get to the point where they open up and talk to you. 8 out of 10, if not 7, 8 out of 10, every 10 women have been molested, raped, or taken advantage of by a man. Now, we have this thing called date rape. Well, most of the time when women go out on dates and they get raped, they trusted that dude at first. Maybe he was a gentleman. Maybe he came off like the perfect gentleman. Maybe she introduced him to the parents and he was upstanding. He told the dad, even told you, I like that young man. He plays football. You can tell he's well coached. He's behaved. He's a starter football team. I like him. He's respectful. But then all of a sudden he gets you off somewhere and tell you, look here now. This is what the deal is. You don't know where you're at. You're a long way from home. You ain't got no phone. You want to do something, you ready to walk. Man. You see, when women go through those experiences, then they build up a wall. They need to protect themselves from people, from wolves in sheep clothing. And so it's not really, I'm like Curtis, it might not be a disconnect, but there are times when people are rude like that. I don't need you to open my door for me.
Yeah.
Because every time they trusted a man to be kind, he ended up turning around to be a wolf. Looking for something else. They think, I helped somebody with something one day. Why he give us that money? They thought I was looking for something out of it. No, I was just doing it out of kindness. But after you get tired of people taking advantage of you or doing something only to get something else out of you, having an ulterior motive, which may be to open the door so when you walk past, they can look at your butt. Then after a while, you start saying, well, dang, you can't trust nobody. I thought he would just open the door for me just to be nice, but he really was opening the door for me so he could look at my backside. And she caught him on camera.
Wow.
So, I mean, maybe he just was nice to me to get me on this date. Now we out of town and we don't show up to the concert. What's going on with you? We show up at a hotel room.
Wow.
And this wasn't in the plans, but now I ain't got no way out. She's trusted. You know, when you trust people for being kind and being gentlemen, sometimes it backfires. So I'm gonna go back to what I said earlier. In my lifetime, 7 or 8 out of every 10 women have been violated or put in a situation like that with a man, vulnerable and taken advantage of, and put in a situation where she doesn't trust me anymore. And the other side, like I said, is non-exposure. I'm glad Navy brought that up because, man, when I tell you, she stole that right out of my head. Non-exposure is huge on men and women's side.
Absolutely.
If you grow up not being exposed to somebody that shows you how to be a gentleman or be courteous or be kind, then it's going to be a strange, odd thing to you when you encounter it.
Good deal. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Got some more people just call in. Good to come to you in just 1 second. Let me go, before I do that, let me go to Navy. Navy, what's on your heart?
I don't really know if I'm tickled at Rico with the Tina Marie, but I'll take it. But no, I mean, like, I go back to my original statement, you know, that experience, your exposure, and the expectation. But to kind of like, shoot, I lost my train of thought. I don't know, but yeah, I don't really think that I have anything else to add to that. I mean, what I will say is this: I feel like, and this is just me because y'all know I love trauma, not in a morbid, but I do think that the traumas that we don't address in our childhood will show up in our relationships, whether that's platonic, whether that's romantic, or otherwise. So again, back to that exposure. If all I know is bad and I'm associating this act with what has been done to me, then that's what I'm going to expect. So I don't know. I just think that that's about it. I don't really have anything additional to add to it.
Good deal. Good deal. Leonard, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem, and the Morning Glow family.
Good to have you this morning. We're talking about what is the disconnect in regards to chivalry. What is the disconnect in regards to chivalry, and meaning you open the door for a young lady and she said, I don't need you to open the door for me. What do you think? I'm weak. I can open the door for myself. And she go into that whole rant. Then what is that saying to you? What's her whole deal?
Well, actually, it's obviously she has something else going on in herself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have nothing to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
You're just projecting what's going on in your own head onto everyone else.
Mm. Is she wrong?
I mean, I don't think it's an issue of wrong or right. I don't think it helps anything for her.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the attitude that you're walking around with. If you got an attitude walking around that everybody's trying to take advantage of you and all these take things from you or something like that, you need to go get some help.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
It's unhealthy.
It's definitely not healthy. It's definitely not healthy.
Especially if it's just somebody opening the door for you.
Yeah.
All you got to do is walk in the door and say thank you and keep going.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Matter of fact, you probably don't even have to say anything.
Just go on in the room.
You can just nod.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because you appreciate someone opening the door for you. Because I open the door for people all the time.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Just to open the door for them. It's just to be courteous.
Mm-hmm.
And what they could be thinking about it is their business, not mine.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's good. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Captain, talk to me. Pete, coming to you next.
Well, I don't know what else we could talk about, Brother Raheem. I wanted to say this. I was thinking about my man Badger. I said, hey, Badger, what you need to do is just go ahead and pass the mic to your wife. We ain't talking to you no more. Put Miss Badger on. I think she got more conversation than you, man. God dog, Badger. I understand every time we talk, we can't make it. I guess you think we make everything a black and white issue, but I don't think we make everything a black and white issue. I don't think that this issue of chivalry has anything to do with black or white. I really think it has only to do with the basic nature of human beings being kind to each other, especially if we are men, and regardless of white men, black men. I don't think chivalry is any different with white men. I don't think it's any different with black men. I just think that we need to understand that as human beings, we have to begin to start practicing courteousness. You know, it's sad that this is even a discussion. It really is. I mean, it's even a discussion.
Mm-hmm.
We've got so far away from the mark that we're talking about issues that is abnormal. You know, normal civilized people do not wake up with these kind of conversations.
Mm-hmm.
But we are so twisted by media. We're so twisted by the norms of today that, you know, we really addressing abnormal behavior.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Abnormal behavior. But I thank you, Brother Ryan, for, you know, finding these topics. You know, we got some brilliant people on this line. There's no question about it that is qualified to answer any topic that you could come up with. I think what gives the beauty of the Morning Glow is we have so many different perspectives. We got so many different experiences on here, but at the end of the day, I think we're in total agreement.
Yeah.
Disagreement with any topic you come up with. So I enjoy it. I really do. And Dr. Leonard, it's good to hear from you. I ain't heard from you in a while, but it's always an honor. So thank you, brother. I ain't got no more to say.
Good deal. Anybody got anything else they want to say on this topic? We're ready to move on to another topic, and I think this other topic gonna be pretty. I think it's gonna be pretty nice. What? Anybody got anything they want to say on this topic before we move on? Okay, good. Let me go to let me start off with Cassandra. I'm gonna start off with Cassandra. I'm gonna pick on Cassandra for a minute. Cassandra, you there?
Yes.
Okay. And I want you to hear the question that I'm asking you. Do self-love block love for others? And the reason why I'm asking that question is this: if a person say, I'm gonna look out for my people first. I'm gonna look out for my people first because they're in a voice situation. I'm gonna take care of them first. If anything is left, I'll take care of everybody else. Does self-love, because of the fact that you love yourself and your own people, does that mean you necessarily hate? Does that take away from love for others? Does that mean you hate everybody else because you love your own people first? What do you say to that?
Of course not. I mean,
and the reason
of
why,
course not.
no, the reason why I asked because
maybe.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, maybe I'm not understanding the question.
Some people say it's like a divisive thing that, like I said, if I say I love my people and I'm gonna take care of my people first, I say I'm gonna make sure my people are good first before I go out there spreading my money, my wealth, or whatever I got to other people. I say I need to do this. I need to elevate my people because my people are the ones that you look at as being in a certain situation. So I want to elevate them to a certain place. Not saying that they're beneath, not saying that they're less than or nothing like that, but I want to elevate my people first. Does that mean I don't love everybody else? Because some people say that's a sense of divisiveness.
No, absolutely no. I can now. I got what you're saying. Absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
You should have a concern for when you say your people. I'm going to make it specific to African American people. I want to help everybody, but I definitely know because of the trauma and the different things that we have and still continue to go, I want to work hard at seeing that we have equality, justice, everything that everybody else wants.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see those for our people, which they have not had up to now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And still not getting.
Yeah.
Still not getting. So no, it's nothing wrong with that. I'm pro-Black, but I'm also pro everybody else too.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to make sure that my folks are being taken care of.
Absolutely. Pete, what do you say to that, man? Does that mean that that is self-love mean that you don't have love for others? What do you say to that, Pete?
No, it does not. It does not mean that, and certainly if you're not going into outrageous areas of extremity,
mm-hmm.
that's not what it means at all. Doing
Mm-hmm.
for self is understood by everybody without young people say what's understood don't have to be explained.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody got up this morning and went to bed last night doing the best that they can for themselves with the mindset and the heart condition to do what's best for those that are closest to them, that they interact with the most and care for the most.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just simply doing what's best for you and yours. Now when we broaden that out to an ethnicity,
mm-hmm.
and certainly when we're talking about the native ones, African American, Black, Negro, Colored, whatever you want to call them, Aboriginal, Indigenous, North, South, Central American, outlying them out of island folk, we have no friends nowhere. So for us to do for ourselves is imperative. We've been fighting for things historically, and we've made some great advances and leeway here in this society, but at the whole time, those advances have benefited others outside of us.
Mm.
We still find ourselves in a certain condition and position, and more importantly, it's directly on us as a responsibility for why we're dealing with these vestiges of the foolishness that we continue to deal with. So doing for self for us is imperative.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if that's your mindset based in hatred, or we need to be separated from it. No. See, now you're going to levels of extremity. Not necessarily what we mean. It's not really what we mean at all when we say doing what's best for us and ourselves. It's just lifting ourselves up, benefiting ourselves, putting some safety nets in place for us, some peaceable things so that some of these common everyday nonsense occurrences that we encounter, we don't have to deal with, because I don't have to put myself in a position to even deal with that mindset, with that heart condition, or with that interaction toward me and mine.
Mm-hmm.
So doing for self is imperative. It has always been imperative, and it's an everyday part of life. If you believe in any high power, Buddha, Confucius, Muhammad, Ali, Jesus, the Christ, that is a belief system and faith that you acclimate yourself to, discipline yourself to, do the necessary behaviors to maintain the relationship and the faith that you say you believe in to be in line with what the teachings of that faith are. You do that all on your own to benefit yourself. Stop acting like we don't understand the clarity and the reality of doing for ourselves.
There you go. There you go. Ibrahim, good morning, sir. How are you doing this morning?
Hey, I'm doing wonderful. I was able to attend the a rally up there in Louisville, Kentucky about friend Jay Johnson, you know, at NFAC, and very proud to be back. And got a massive headache right now, but proud to be back and be on your show.
Yeah, good to have you, brother.
Amen. Just got through talking. I mean, about that answers the question.
Say that one more time.
I said the last person was talking answered the question.
Yeah, yeah.
It seems to be a curse upon us that every time other people talk about our needs for melanated people, like all of a sudden, like we done turned our head around and we don't need that. You know, every problem that we need, as far as Elijah Muhammad and others before him said, was to have our own land and do for ourselves. You know, it's not necessarily having a nation and everything, but everything we need. GMO products, we decry that. Then why are we crying about that when we can grow and raise our own crops and our own food? You know, or that we did back during the Nation of Islam days. You know what I mean? They had their own farm. They produced their own fish. They had their own factory, produced bean pies. You know what I mean? And somehow today, I think we lost that. We wanted to cry and beg. As been said, we want to do that to ask the people to solve our problems, and we seem to don't have the ability to solve ourselves. Like we had all kinds of excuses, like PSTD from the racism that took place back when, there, and now. Well, I was born and raised in '51. I'm telling you, I ain't talking. People say, "Are you talking about slavery?" No, I'm talking about my lifetime. You know what I mean? What I see, what I observe. You know what I mean? And yeah. The first thing is that the way I was taught that God first, family second, the community third, right, and your race fourth. Because the only people gonna think about you as said by oh God, I don't know if I can get his name right now. I'm kind of waking up, had my first cup of coffee. But the thing is that it is incredibly stupid that somebody would depend upon another race, you know, to take care and solve their problems. Right? When their problem is really about your race. And when you saw what's good for black people in this country, what we solve our problem is good for the country, is good for the world. You know, black people can sit up at the table and say, no, we don't want to have this war. We don't want Vietnam. We don't want to support Ukraine. We don't want to do these other things, right? Like Martin Luther King did. That brought a determination of the devil. We said a no against the Vietnam. Why we kill these innocent people over there, millions of people over there in Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, and we decry because we're over there still killing them. And then if black people sat at the table, man, maybe we'll think about it. Say, I don't need to send people over there to be killed, to kill people that had nothing to do with anything.
Exactly.
You know, and so we got the bad guy, and we went over there and put all their people in line, billions of dollars, and still put billions of dollars over there. And we want to talk about Biden throwing away money because he's spending on American people. We don't say nothing about when he's throwing billions of dollars over there to Ukraine to get in the battle that we need to not probably be in.
Good deal.
And the consequence of anything, whether it's good or bad, is consequence that all the stuff because we co-sign that.
Okay.
When they do
Gotta
something,
move on.
they do something in American name, our name.
Oh,
so
good,
yeah,
good deal. Gotta keep it moving, brother.
We should put our shit on the market to be done right by and to recover any ills that have been done by doing it for ourselves.
Good deal. Kurt, talk to me, brother. What do you say to that? What do you say to this question, brother? Is self-love, does it block love for others? If we say we want to do it for our own first, does that mean we don't care or we don't love everybody else? Curtis, what exactly does that say to you? Kurt, you there? Okay. We'll come back to Kurt. We may have lost Kurt there for a second. Hopefully we'll get him back in a little bit. He's actually
Right.
Okay, there you go. There you go. We couldn't hear you, brother. Talk to me.
Well, what is it that you need me to talk about, man?
Your question, brother. It's the radio, conversation. Words, brother. Words. Come on. Come on.
I heard what the brother was saying.
No, asking the question, do self-love, if you say what Kurt say, I love my people, I'm gonna take care of my people first. I'm gonna make sure that they taken care of before I go take what I have and put it in other communities. I'm gonna take care of my people first. Does that mean if you want to take care of your people first, does that mean you don't love everybody else? You know, self-love, does that mean you don't love everybody else, Curtis? That's the question right there.
No, and you know what's crazy?
Mm-hmm.
The fact that we gotta have this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that we have to question if that's acceptable or not as a people states the hypocrisy in the masses.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? The fact that the minute we talk about or we begin to practice that level of self-love is the very same minute that the system demonizes us for it.
Come on.
And hearing everything that my elderly statesman just said, I can agree only to disagree.
Mm-hmm.
Hearing what he said is pretty much on point. My biggest problem with our modern day American society is the society as a whole consistently pushes one to blame or put the responsibility on an individual and not truly hold to account the system as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Like you want us to believe that America is the greatest planet, the greatest country on the planet. Well, for who was it great? Or for who is it great?
Mm-hmm.
For who is it that benefits the most off of this American system that we have? Is it the system itself that is actually benefiting, or is it the people? Because I can't see a benefit when you got a bunch of Caucasian American brothers and sisters walking around here screaming hate rhetoric and all this foolishness about their very own brothers and sisters. At the end of the day, let's just tell an inconvenient truth here. Everybody on this planet is black. Let's just keep it real, man. There's many shades of being dark, but everybody on this planet comes from an African descent.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm. 30 seconds.
I think sometimes when we talk about holding the system accountable, the system kicks in its measures to take our eyes off of the system and put our eyes on the intricate parts that the system is manipulating, meaning the people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Let's keep this.
So you heard, I'll just explain right here.
Mm-hmm.
I never forget this. They're coming to take your jobs. They're coming to rape your women. They're coming while all at the same time, the system was taking your jobs.
Mm-hmm.
The system was psychologically raping your women.
Okay, good deal.
You got a woman 9 hours a week, and yet you can't see her overtime is still giving her the amount of money that she would have made had she worked 40 hours. You raping her, man.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Stay right there, Curtis. We gotta keep the steam moving. Stay right there. We're gonna go on this order here. We're gonna go Rico, Leonard, and then Captain. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah, this is gonna be short, man. I mean, that's just, you know, the way society is built. You know, they got the system of classification that they came up with, and you know, now we are in group identity politics and group identity communities. I mean, it's all about groups. So every group has done what they need to do. Irish, Chinese, Japanese, Indian. You know, they look out for each other. The so-called Jews.
Why is it,
white
Rico?
people.
Why is it? And you're absolutely right when you say that. But why is it when we say we're gonna come together and do something, is vilified?
Well, that's the point. You know, is that to me, that's automatically a fear thing. You know, I mean, when you see that it's being vilified, that automatically tells you they don't want y'all to do that. Then you have to ask yourself why. What logical sense on this green earth? Now, they could bring up all kind of other reasons. You know, we get polarized and start listening to propaganda and start talking about all the brain size and this and that. But what logical reason would they try to say that we are inhuman and we are three-fifths human? What logical reason would they breed us like cattle? What logical reason would they not want us to do survive in the system that they designed where people are identified by groups? Why don't they want our group to survive and participate and do the same thing? Why would we target it for chattel slavery? You know, I saw a story about a guy named John Penny, I think, over in Great Britain. He was a slave, aka indentured servant, working in cane fields. And as he worked in the cane fields, he started noticing that they had Indians that were slaves, aka indentured servants, and black people. And he noticed that these black people was outworking everybody. They just kept coming up with different techniques and doing things that made them better. They got the better product out. So he got his sister to buy him out of slavery. Then he went and bought his own cane fields and he started slavery himself. And he decided he was going to get all black people because he knew he would get the best work out of them. But he was different. He believed in paying them fairly and making them happy so he could get the best work out of them. He treated them right. He didn't do all the stuff that they did over here. But at the same time, he understood that, you know, these group of people were the best workers. Now, he got accepted later on into the white community. All these different people got accepted into the white community. You have to ask yourself, well, how did that happen? What was the purpose in that? What was the advantage of it? And what's the advantage of making sure we don't, or not even say we don't, but being against us doing those same things? And it really comes down to what Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, what she said. You know, you have to go read the ISIS papers and the keys to the colors. Start understanding control of resources and domination and power. And if you are a resilient people that can overcome obstacles that the average person as a group can, and somebody has identified this in the people with this deep melanin in them, then you start understanding that it may be deeper in what you think. It might not just be the fact that they want to play the mind game. Oh, y'all being racist. Y'all just trying to keep it to yourself. But it might be the fact that they just trying to keep us from getting in control or make sure that they can retain control because they're trying to, what did she say, Frances Cress Welsing? They're trying to make sure they don't go extinct. Now, that might be a little extreme for some people to think. But, you know, when you think about extreme racism and the extreme things that people do to make sure we don't unite as a group, there has to be some truth to that. The fact that they don't want to be wiped out, removed, or replaced as the dominant species.
Wow.
Genetic annihilation.
Leonard?
Yes, sir.
Talk to me, sir. What's on your heart? Because Leonard love black people who want to help black people out, you know, his community out. Does that mean he hate everybody else?
No, not at all. And, you know, like I said before, some people have certain perceptions that make them behave a certain way. So, you know, you can't sit here and like pick sides or what have you. Like I say, I don't have no romantic connection to being black. I am black. It's not that big of a deal to me. But obviously it's a big deal to somebody else. I don't fight you because I'm black. I fight you because you're wrong. So if white folks can leave race alone, I definitely can leave it alone.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? I have not allowed racism to permeate who I am.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Do you understand that?
Yes, I do. Absolutely.
Racism is somebody else's construct.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem with being black, never had a problem with being black, never had a problem working with black people or anything like that. But you know what? I run into black people who do have this problem.
Why do you think that is?
Because of their perspective. If your perspective of your being only relates to what white people said, God help you. I am praying for you continually. Because I hate the fact that you think like that for yourself. So when I meet other people who are black, who believe a certain way that's unhealthy for them, I try to help them. I don't sit there with them and join in on their pity party. Why would I sit around thinking less of myself because of what somebody white said? That doesn't occur to me, but I know some people do have this problem.
Mm-hmm. And how do you deal with them?
Well, basically because I deal with the truth most likely, most of the time. I am not usually what someone else would say. You know, I'm a person. I'm a human being. That's what the fight was about in the first place.
Okay.
It didn't have, you know, a lot of people get involved for selfish reasons. Some people are just simply uneducated. And other people, for some reason, are just think less of themselves. I just want you to recognize that you're a human being. And you're just as good as everyone else. I like Brother Ibrahim, I believe that was him earlier today, where race issues were on his list. Why you gonna sit around and worry about being black?
508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input. Good morning, Mama. My mama watching this morning. Let's go. We're gonna go to Cap. Then we got Willa. We're gonna go to Cap first. Cap, what's on your heart?
Well, you know, I have your T-shirt coming.
Yes, sir.
You know, I produced a T-shirt that says "Loving Black Self Matter." Now, some people would wonder why I have to make a T-shirt that says "Loving Black Self Matter." You know, Kanye had a shirt on that said "Black White Lives Matter." We have pushed "Black Lives Matter." So I put "Loving Black Self Matter." Now let me say this. When we start loving ourselves, we automatically become a threat
Yes.
to those who have benefit from our self-hatred. Think about it now. When we start loving ourselves, then we start patronizing ourselves, doing for ourselves, working in behalf of ourselves, and that would break this system that have benefited from our self-hatred. Think about that. Kanye made a statement about the Jews, and they came after him with everything. But one of the things he said is that black people are originally Jews, or black people are Hebrews. They didn't come back and say he was a lie. They skipped away from that. I heard Rico use the word so-called Jews. Now, what are we saying? I looked at a program last night where the Mossad went into Argentina and got Eichmann, kidnapped him, took him all the way to Israel in 1961, and tried him in the state of Israel for the war crimes that he committed when he was a general under Hitler. He said, Eichmann said, wait a minute, I think we need to bring me to a world court and let the world judge me, not Israel. And so Israel said, no, we gave the world an opportunity to bring you to trial, but they didn't give a doggone about you. So we got you. So when you see people who have a self-interest, they have to go sometime against the world. We have to have the same spirit.
Come on.
That when we are under attack, it ain't got nothing to do with somebody else's, what they think about our demise. Then Jews went all the way and kidnapped my man, abducted him, and then eventually hung him in Israel. Well, what about the crimes that have been committed to us? You see? We got to stop worrying about what everybody else thinks. I like the spirit, but when you come to talking about Kanye and the Jewish people, listen to this. You come after people who's anti-Semitic, but you never Jewish people ever said, you know, you people need to watch your music. You people need to start working a little bit better and not calling the women bees. They never come to talk about what we can be as a human being, but you promote that kind of music until one of the rappers exposed it. That's the hypocrisy that I don't like. But when we talk about do love and self matter, yes, it matters. Because the time we start loving ourselves brings it in to those who take advantage of us. And let me tell you something. Everybody don't want to see Black people love themselves.
Come on.
Because that means you can no longer take advantage of us. And we're on our way to self-sufficiency, and that becomes a threat. So no. People don't want to see us loving ourselves. Oh, no. The prison population would go down. People don't want to see us loving ourselves. Everything, all of the people that take advantage of us on the economic, that would go down. People don't want to see us love ourselves. But I don't care what they think. Loving Black self, doggone it, has to matter to us. The hell with everybody else. The heck with everybody else. Let us love ourselves, and I guarantee you, the enemies would come out. They don't want to see us love ourselves. I'm through with it, my brother.
Good deal. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input. Willa!
Good morning, Raheem. Good morning.
Good morning, Willa. Willa, we asking.
Good morning, Glow.
Hey, good to have you, sis. Good to have you. Asking the question: Do self-love mean that you don't love other people? And what I mean by that is this: if you say I want to help, well, Willa say I want to help the Black community first. You know, I came into $1 billion. I want to help the Black community first. I'm not saying I'm not gonna help y'all, but I'm gonna help us first, get to where we need to get to, and then I help you later. Does that mean you hate them?
No, Raheem. That doesn't mean that we hate them or hate anybody.
Yeah.
It means that we place, when you love somebody and something, it doesn't matter actually what color you are, but you're helping those that are in need. See, we get that mixed up when we help. See, I'm not helping you because you're Black. I'm helping you because you need. So I'm just looking at our community that need more programs for mental health, and to need more programs for our youth, need more programs for young mothers that are trying to raise children, need more help for our men who are lacking in the home. So that's why I would say if I would help anybody, it will be my culture, because those are the things that I feel that we're missing. Not that we don't feel the love for one another, but we just feel the help from one another. And that's what's on my heart. Right?
Good deal. Cassandra, then I'm going to Pete. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
I can't really add anything, because what has been said, covers, how I feel about it. We have to love ourselves. in order to help bring us just not even. I think if we all started really loving ourselves, when I say ourselves, our community, we would flourish in every area of life, in every area of life. But until we do that, we're going to continue to either be oppressed or suppressed by our own behavior as well as by the behavior of others.
Wow. Let's go to Pete, then we're going to Ibrahim. Pete, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
Well, we're rolling with it. It comes down to domination. And at this point, it's accepted. So you have to figure out how long do you want to accept being dominated by forces outside of yourself collectively. It's time up for that. Self-determination, establishing your own principles, your own community codes of conduct. That's on us to do that. To stress the importance of the man, woman, and child concept in family, education, and then the necessity of exercising your intellectual properties and maximizing your physical abilities. That's on us to do that. Creating situations where we can maximize the care of us regarding our health. That's on us to do that, right? Having situations to secure and maximize and benefit financially, putting those structures in place, that education in place. And it doesn't just exist with us singularly, but us singularly involving ourselves in the whole of the financial aspect and how we can benefit from it. But it's moving as a group. Again, we have to understand in America, America is a corporation, it's a government republic, but also has a corporation structure. When you engage the corporation, that's a group process. When you engage economics, right? Commerce, that's a group effort, right? And then when we talk about we should do cooperative economics with each other and do capitalism with everybody else. But again, that's a group effort. So us loving ourselves, valuing ourselves, doing for ourselves means all of the non-owned businesses in our community are gone. The mom and pop staples come back to being folk that look like us. So now we're turning that dollar back around again. We're enforcing our tax paying with the benefits of our educational structure. It has to be maximized to its ultimate potential so that our constituents, children, young people, those that are students seeking higher education and benefits through education, the facilities are there and the means are there for that to be maximized to its full potential regarding us. But that's on us to do it. And it would definitely take us working together, and it would definitely take us loving ourselves. See, putting your position first doesn't mean you're adverse to anybody else.
Yeah.
It just means that you understand the value of yourself and your positioning and what you should have, your say-so, your benefits, your purpose, your value, your intent, your goals, your desires, your right as a flesh and blood sentient being here on planet Earth. Nothing wrong with that. It's not adverse to anybody. But the adversity comes from us having been historically in a position and others benefiting from us being in that position, a whole society that prefers to keep us collectively in a position so that the greater continues to benefit off of your lesser. That's over with.
Wow.
That's over with. And this is a peaceful, calm mindset, but at the same time, never take violence off the table. Because as you endeavor to advance in your own advancement, creation, and positioning and power, any form of anything that thinks it has the right to come and assault that, your right to be self-determined, it is your duty as a living being to immediately address that. And if it must be aggressive, be more aggressive and be completely destructive and have nothing but death on your mind. And it's not about you sacrificing your life for what you believe in. It's absolutely about you taking lives and standing on what you believe in with no apologies, no explanations, no reasoning, because it is your right as a flesh and blood sentient being on planet Earth. Up, you mighty race, accomplish all you will. The question is, what are you willing to accomplish?
Good deal. We're gonna go Ibrahim, Kurt, and then Rico. Ibrahim, Kurt, then Rico. Ibrahim, what's on your heart? 3 minutes.
Well, hey, he just that's what I was talking about, Marcus Garvey. that had learned from Booker T. Washington about necessity for a group of people to do for themselves. He's the one that did that quote. I try to paraphrase that. That we can do anything that anybody else can do. We got the same eyes, same accoutrements that anybody other race have, and a race that depends upon another race is against the laws of mankind. It's very important that one thing that I saw that got me back into the movement, I started seeing people was talking one way and produced something else. But I met a gentleman that was wanting to rescue black people after Katrina. I've seen how black people almost ignored, and even though they was of similar wealth or prosperity and live in neighborhoods, then all of a sudden they were like animals cut away. And that's what made me want to go out with a group called PanShop to rescue, to make sure that we had a chance. Not necessarily I was going to just rescue black people, I was going to bypass white people, but the people I came upon that would be ignored, that I would have an opportunity to rescue my people, that are the ones that are ignored. Because I've seen this happen time and time again in my lifetime, in the state of natural emergency, we don't even make the grade. When they were talking about Puerto Rico, how many black Puerto Ricans did you see on TV that was suffering? But and Cubans. I met a black Cuban a couple of weeks ago, and then we talked about this. We talking about old type of Cubans, but we don't see the black Cubans. We see the poverty in Cuba. So all I say on and on again. And when I talk about black people in America, I'm talking about black people in the Americas, the Aborigines, the people that were transferred over here, our cousins were transferred over here. I'm talking about all black people in America that we forget, like Marcus Garvey was talking about, how he brought himself into being, trying to be the leader, that he was supposed to be and bring the things he was supposed to be. And these are things that are important to me because we ignore each other. We ignore the plight over in South America, Venezuela, and Colombia, and Panama. We ignore their plight, and we look at ours and say, well, they're not like us. We want to turn to Africa. You know what I mean? Which the Africans don't care much for us, and we want to go over there to combat y'all and a feeling and see things instead of helping people that need help, just like we need help. I remember when $1 billion was offered to Farrakhan, go over there and help black people here in America. Of course, he intelligently denied it because he know his life expectancy would be like zero if he had put his hand on that $1 billion. And but all these things to be said is that the most important thing is that we have to learn that it's most important to take care of your family. And like one brother said, if we love ourselves, we care for ourselves, we wouldn't be killing ourselves as much. We wouldn't be in jail like we wouldn't be putting our people in jail for literally nothing. We wouldn't have the attitude that we're a criminal. And every time we go in a rally now, it seems that we are the violent ones. And even though violence is perpetrated upon us, our own people will accuse us and point out things and say they are the violent ones.
Wow.
It would say Black Lives Matter are the violent ones. Black Lives Matter is this, right? You know what I mean? So why about all lives? I heard a black man saying, well, all lives matter. All lives do matter, but we want to bring attention on the people who ignore it. Black people.
Good deal. Good deal. Good day. We got to keep it moving, brother. Love your passion, brother. Love your passion. We got to keep this thing going. We're going to go in this order. We're going to go Kurt, Rico, Paul, and then we got Joseph with us. So, Kurt, what's on your heart, brother? 3 minutes.
Every time confronted with an issue of race, color, and/or creed, we're always confronted with having to choose which actual side we are on. Not realize that if it ain't us, it will be somebody else who stands a chance, another culture that stands a chance to gain a massive amount of power in this country. The brother said something that really sparked it up. We have for probably the last 50 years been the economic base of a country for which we have not received economic fairness in. But yet, we have been the economic base, the spending power, as well as the larger bracket in the workforce. But yet, we have been constantly reminded of how lazy we are, of how we don't want to get out and do nothing, of how we are not moving to transmogrify the culture of American society. Why do I say all of that? I say all of that to say this. I'm going to go right back to my original premise. The system is obviously designed and set up to keep the African American population in this country dumbed down to a point that it will always be able to make money off of it. And the minute that any one of us decides to buck that system, we are demonized, denigrated, humiliated, and forced to take the red pill instead of the blue pill. Notice I said forced.
Yes. 30 seconds.
I get it, man. I get it. I get it. And people should be frustrated. They really should be. And people should be scared. Because, see, the minute these black folks realistically shift to everybody else, I want to say, is it going to be you next? Because our shift is coming. That's a guarantee. God has guaranteed that. I'm going to land my plane right there, brother.
Good deal. Let me go. Rico, talk to me. Rico, Paul, and then Joseph. Rico, 3 minutes.
Well, another reason I feel like, we are vilified when we do that is because if we actually were to start, I would say, maneuvering like the Amish, or like the Jewish community, we actually pool our money together and invest it in us. Yeah, we would contribute to the whole economic picture of America. But some people gonna lose. Some people gonna lose big. Imagine if we really kept control of hip hop and didn't let it slip through our fingers the way it did. Imagine if Dr. Dre didn't have to go to David Geffen or Jimmy Iovine to make hip hop what it was. See, we praise 50 Cent and we praise Jay-Z and Diddy and Dr. Dre. They gonna be the first rapper billionaires. But it's some Jew out there, so-called Jew, making more money off of Jay-Z name than Jay-Z making. Ain't that something? And if we wake up and start investing in ourselves and stop participating in things that make them profit from us, then somebody gonna crash. They gonna lose their wealth. So they might kill you if you get out of line. They'll do it in a heartbeat. And whether we realize it or not, America is what it is off of our backs. And look where we are. Greatest country on the planet, so they say. Economic power, superpower, built by America off the backs of slavery. Fastest millionaires, richest people at the quickest pace in the history of mankind through cotton and cane, sugar cane. All that free labor, man. People got rich so fast. The South took off. I mean, so they had what you call that new money.
Yeah.
That new money jumped in and got into that aristocrat business, controlling resources and manipulating people. But how they make their money off of our backs? So imagine how much of a loss that would be if we woke up. Somebody mentioned that prison system, man. Y'all know who run the commissary in the prison system? And the collect call the phone call system in the prison system, the Bushes and the Clintons, the commissary, the phone. And guess how much it costs for you to talk for a minute if you call from prison or jail? If you ain't got a cell phone, and that's probably gonna cost you too if you want that. Now you get laptops and stuff and TVs in prison. But for some of those that don't allow that, if you still making collect phone calls, You're paying about $15 a minute.
Good Lord.
Woo! Somebody getting paid.
30 seconds.
But guess who the majority of people in prisons are? So, I mean, it's a system that's in place that has been very profitable. And America wouldn't be what it was and who it is without that system being in place. And for it to be in place and be what it was, we had to be in a certain situation. Now they did the Willie Lynch, gave us a few crumbs to make us feel like we can fit in. But it's still something that we have to always remember. They're going to keep moving the ball. You know what I'm saying? We can't make it in this system, but we got to understand that there's another system in place that doesn't want us to make it. And the minute we start denying that exists and blaming ourselves for not making it all the time, not realizing that somebody might kick the chair off of under you.
Wow.
When you're trying to make it, all because you still got to remember that it wasn't meant for you to make it. It's meant for somebody else to make money off of you. And if we ain't making money off of what you're doing, we're going to find a way to take it from you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sad but truth. Sad but truth. Gonna keep this thing going. Paul, then we're gonna go to Joseph. Paul, what's on your heart? Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. The original question was, is it wrong to favor your own race or something like that?
Yeah.
How did you word that?
Do self-love block love for others?
Okay, yeah, it's self-love. Okay, so you're using the term self-love to talk about your, like, if you have love for your own group above other groups.
Yes.
And
like if you want to help you want to help your group first before you help other people. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, first of all, there is no such thing as white people and there's no such thing as black people. You know, this is man-made classification system. We all come from the same place. We're all descendants of Africa. White people, quote unquote, white people have only existed for a few thousand years as a natural adaptation to the low level of sunlight in the, higher latitude. So we need to get that. I think that's the key, in my mind, that's the key concept, because we need people to reject race and realize that we're just all human beings. And I feel like a lot of people classified as black identify with black to their detriment. And I understand why. Black people do that because, you have been racialized the same way brown people have been racialized, and you have to fight back against that. And that takes action, government action and individual action and so forth. But, if we're stuck in that mindset, then we're always fighting. We're fighting ourselves, because it's like it becomes central to our lives. And I fight it myself. The example, like when you talk about people being racialized, the example I think of is back in maybe 10 years ago when Cain Velasquez was UFC heavyweight champion. He had a huge brown pride tattoo on his chest. And all these white people were like, "Oh my God, that's so racist. I can't believe it. I can't believe it." And it was like, well, do you understand the history that Mexican Americans have gone through in this country? Treated like animals and just dehumanized and everything else. He's reclaiming his pride. And the same thing with Black Pride. I'm all for that, celebrating the achievements and all that good stuff. But you got to find a middle ground somehow. You have to be proud, but if you go, I think if it goes too far, then you're identifying. You're like, well, what are you? Are you a human being? Are you a Christian? Are you a father? Are you a black man? What are you? If I ask you,
30
you
seconds.
ask me, who are you, Paul? I'm a human being. That's it. Number one, right off the top, I'm a human being. Everything else is secondary to that.
That's good. That's good. And I guess if everybody thought that way along those lines, it would probably be a better environment in which we live in across the board. But not everybody have that mindset. Joseph, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning to you, sir, and good morning to the Morning Glow family, man. This is a powerful conversation. Again, I said again, I don't know, Raheem. I think you have assembled some of the most advanced minds in the country, man.
Yes, sir. To God be the glory.
I'm learning so much just listening. Paul has some good point. Rico, boy, he knocked it out of the park. And man, I'm just full. But now I agree with some of what Brother Paul said, and I had to push back a little bit as well. The Black Power movement was an antidote. You know, when James Brown came out with the song "Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud," he was pushing it back against society, who was trying to say black folks was inferior and ugly. We weren't so ugly, because otherwise people wouldn't be laying out on the beach trying to get our color. So, you know, that's a lie. But, you know, black is beautiful, you know, but white is beautiful too. I mean, you know, if I was white, I would certainly want to feel that way, because I'm not going to, you know, accept no inferiority complex imposed on me. I don't think no human being is going to do that. But now, when we consider, as Brother Paul said, how we've been racialized, you have to fight that battle. That's a battle that was imposed on you. You didn't invite it. You were born in it. So you have to fight that battle. You know, when white people decided to go colonize Asian and African people, they did so under the myth that somehow those people were inferior to white people. All right. I look at Samora Machel of Mozambique, revolutionary that led his country to independence against the Portuguese. And as you know, he was assassinated. He was murdered, probably by South Africa and the United States. And, you know, Mandela took his widow to be his wife before he passed. But one of the things Samora Machel was saying to his people, he said, "A luta continua," the struggle continues. He used Portuguese language. Then he said, I'm not going to speak in the oppressor's language. He spoke in his own dialect, because you have to assert yourself. You have to assert your humanity. And that's what he did. And he told his people, the struggle continues, but against what? Against ignorance, against tribalism, against greed. See, we're in a struggle. And ignorance is dangerous. Ignorance lends itself to be used. Even here in America, African Americans who don't see other black folks in the diaspora as the descendants of slavery are just as we are. And they are waging the same struggle wherever they are, whether they're in Cuba, Puerto Rico, or South America. We're all engaged in that racialized struggle. But now look,
30 seconds.
It doesn't mean that that's who we are. Who they say we are is not who we are. So we have to peel back those layers and shine like the morning sun, because that's who we really are. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Willa, Cassandra, Pete, and Leonard. Willa, what's on your heart?
Well, I've been listening, Raheem, and like I think that's Joseph that just said. I mean, I'm learning a lot as well. But you know, anytime you give, period, Raheem, it should always be given out of your heart. Out of your heart. You know, because when you give out your heart, then there's a certain way you feel about yourself when you give from your heart. It's not about boasting. It's not, you know, and you know what I like the most, Raheem, that when I can give, even when I don't even have, that makes me, because you're genuine as a person, as a people. It makes you genuine, you know, and those are the kind of people that you would want to, like Paul said. Just like Paul said, you would want to be around no matter what color you are, because you know your next door neighbor, heat is off, gas is off, the young lady, she's struggling. You know, why would you allow that to happen knowing that you're able to help her? That's just an example of what I'm saying when I say as a people that comes from your heart. And that's what's on my heart. The Bible says that He loves a cheerful giver.
Yeah.
See, we need to get away with counting 10% or 15 or 5%. We need to get into the realization that God is looking for genuine. I'm giving because I'm a generous giver.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you need things like for your show, Raheem. It's not nothing that is given for free. It's a cost.
Mm-hmm.
And we should all be genuine enough to say, you know what? We're giving toward the cost freely, not because you asked for it, but because we know it's a part of the need of what represents the morning glow of getting it through where we need to get it to. So that's what's on my heart. When we learn the gift of giving and giving in need, you know, because when you say free, that's when greed comes out.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying, right? And that's what's on my heart.
Well, I'm going to go ahead on and put it out there. My Cash App is $DKM Radio. $DKM Radio. If y'all want to give something, I'm not going to tell you to give. I'm not going to tell you not to give. But it's my Cash App is $DKM Radio. That's what it is. So that's let that pierce your heart. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
Yeah, I think Willa pretty much said, you know, what would be on my heart concerning that. So I'm grateful for the conversation today, and
Praise God.
I think it was I know I learned some stuff, and it's just a blessing to be able to hear the perspectives and opinions of everyone on this line.
Absolutely. To God be the glory. Definitely to God be the glory. Brother Pete, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart? Pete, you there?
I'm sorry, I was away from a little touch. We said mostly the whole gamut. It's not about any disdain for anything outside of yourself. If it goes to that,
where did that misconception come from, Pete? Where did the misconception of people thinking that come from?
Sometimes it's just, you know, the response to a mentality, or from a mentality, or from actions, occurrences that create a form in somebody's mind, a perspective, and then they go forward with it. You know, if you have a negative occurrence with one person, even two, it's not the whole. So we have to understand that's just relative to those individuals. But doing for self is simply that, just doing what's best for self.
Absolutely.
It's not, it doesn't go outside of that to because I don't like you, because of what you did, because of this. That has nothing to do with it. It's simply about you as a being doing what's best for you.
Yes.
And at the same time, as you're doing what's best for you, that doesn't restrict you from your humanity and showing compassion, concern, courtesy, respect to everybody else. Certainly, if that's what you want for yourself, as a part of doing for yourself, I would think that you would project that out to everyone else. It's a standard that you expect. So it should be something that you expound and expose from your behavior, certainly if you desire it to be extended to you from others. But doing for self is simply that, just doing what's best for yourself.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, it will extend to those closer to you. That's all. When it goes to the point of not liking somebody else, you're focusing or basing it off of competition with something outside of yourself, you off track. You done lost the whole point.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I want to say this, man. A couple of people actually sent something, man, to the Cash App, and I want to thank you know who you are. I don't know if you want me to acknowledge who you are or put your names out there, but a couple of people actually sent something in to $DKM Radio. So I definitely appreciate it. Thank you very much that you took the time and you did that. Means a lot to me. It really does. Thank you for doing that. We say we're gonna go to we got an order. We're gonna go to Leonard. Then we're gonna go to Captain, and we got somebody else just called in a second ago. So let's go to Leonard. Leonard, what's on your heart, sir?
You know, excuse me. Now I've been listening, like you say, a lot of people have said, but I want to make a couple comments based on good people. Miss Cassandra, she good people.
Yes.
No matter how she can be as mad as about something or somebody, but you know what? She's still a good person. She's still gonna help you. Miss Willa. You can hear it in their voice.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do, and that's what they dedicate their lives to. Those are the people that I give my attention. Those are the people that I help and support. Good people. We're talking as if black people don't do. I mean, honestly, I'm finding it hard to relate to certain things. Who y'all keeping company with that's got y'all believing certain things about black people? Who y'all around? Where are the like, say for instance, I search out people that do good works because I believe in that. Are you looking, or are you waiting for somebody to criticize? Everybody listening right now can go do something good. But are you going to do it? Or are you just going to sit around and complain and make excuses for the people who are not? This notion that somehow, I call it bait and switch sometimes. Some people, it seems like sometimes y'all bait people for some things that are quite impossible or that are not based in actuality and are simply unrealistic.
Why do you say unrealistic?
Because instead of focusing on what you can do, you all out here in the stratosphere creating things that don't have nothing to do with you. Instead of doing some work. You don't sit around and talk. Go find some people to give something to if you feel people ain't giving enough. I mean, do you want other people to do it, or you think that that's your goal in life, is to tell other people what they ain't doing? Come on, like if black people don't have businesses, don't have communities and organizations and all they're out there.
30 seconds.
The problem is you ain't a part of none of them. That's why you feel like ain't nobody doing nothing. Because you ain't doing nothing. I guarantee you can find an effort. It can be just as black as you want. If there ain't one, start one. Because you get to because you black. Ain't nobody, what can't you do right now that you want to do to help somebody else? What can't you do? You can do whatever you want. Focus on doing that instead of trying to criticize what everybody else in the world ain't doing.
Okay. 508-924-3521. Captain, we got a couple other people that just called in. Want to touch them as well before we get out of here. But Cap, what's on your heart?
Well, let me say this. I've been a member of the Nation of Islam since 1972. I am still a member of the Nation of Islam. I still believe Elijah Muhammad, the message of Allah. I still practice how to eat and live. So I just want to put that on the record. When people quote the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, like I'm not a member. I know all about what Gaddafi offered the minister. I was there when he offered him that $1 billion, but it was predicated on us trying to get the sanctions lifted off of him. But when the sanctions was lifted off of Gaddafi without our help, he reneged on the $1 billion. However, I'm saying that to say this. I love what Paul said. Paul, I'm getting ready to send you an honorary bow tie. You absolutely hit the nail on the head. You was able to say where the origin of white people come from. But Paul, if I put you in an audience of white people, you would get booed making that statement. Oh, you just black people hearing you now. We'd be in the corner cheering. Say that again, Paul. Where do y'all come from? But shoot, you couldn't get your own people to admit to that. But you're right, Paul. We have to grow beyond color. I'm trying to get there. There have been certain attitudes people had about the Nation of Islam. I'm sure since I've been on DKM radio, y'all have a different attitude about the nation based upon my conversation. And I am moving towards more humanity than color. I hate the color bag, man. That's why my peacekeepers, we don't have a color problem. I have white peacekeepers. Whoa, how can you, Captain Dennis, be the founder of that? Don't you believe the white man? How could you? I'm even growing. The ultimate goal is for us to see the humanity in each other.
Yeah.
And I'm about that too. Willa is to me a great Christian. I don't care, Raheem, what you throw at Willa. She gonna go into the Christian mode.
Yeah.
You're not gonna put her in no category.
Yeah.
She's gonna come out on top with God. I love that.
Yeah.
She's true to the game. And everyone on here, We have grown from each other, and we got to get to the point with color. And I like what my man Rico said, and with my man Pete said. We have to get from that part where people constantly want to put us in a color bag. We wouldn't talk about color if white folks didn't make color an issue.
Mm-hmm.
That's the truth. If you keep raising your flag and I keep seeing you raise your football colors, man, I want to raise my football colors.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that I'm racist. It's that, man, I'm proud of who I am too. So I think we're moving towards what Martin Luther King talked about. When you judge by the content of your character, man, I want to see a society. And let me land my plane on this note. In the last, with the Muslim one, when we go to with the Muslim one and with the Muslim belief, point number 12, this last paragraph it says, lastly and further, we believe there's no God but Allah. Look here, as that He will establish a universal government of peace where we all will live in peace together.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it closed out. Now, if we was racist, why wouldn't it say we with God would establish universal government of peace where just black folks would live in peace? No, where we all, white, black. So if we say that at the end, then that means that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
Is to move past the color back. And I think on your show, Raheem, we're moving towards that perfect union.
Yes, sir.
But you can't have a perfect union with God unless you got a perfect union with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're talking about. To love yourself is to love God, and to love God is to love yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then wait a minute, let me say this what Sister said. That's what's on my heart, Raheem.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
yes, sir. Oh, yeah, go ahead, Leonard.
I want to commend Captain Dennis
Mm-hmm.
for what he just said, because I love the Nation of Islam,
Mm-hmm.
and what he just said needs to be heard more in the community.
Mm-hmm.
You
Wow.
heard it the last time when Malcolm was killed, after he went to where his truth was at,
Mm-hmm.
and how he came back. I love the way the minister has been preaching these last few years, because it's hard to change old ways and old habits.
Mm-hmm.
But what Captain Dennis just said, you rarely will ever hear a Muslim say.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
It's a plan inclusive of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
That's key to what he just said, because most people don't believe that.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow.
And I've rarely ever heard a Muslim say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
So I was
offended.
blessed to hear that today.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Let me do this. I got a few people I need to touch before we got Annette. Good.
I'm offended. I'm offended.
Hold.
I really am.
Okay. I don't know who that is. Say they're offended, but hold on 1 second. I'll come right back. Who is that? I'll come right back to you. Who's that?
Ibrahim.
Okay, Ibrahim.
I'm finna last two
Oh, okay, stay right there, Ibrahim. I'll come back to you. Let me go to Annette. Annette, good morning. How you doing, young lady?
Good morning. Good morning. And you know what? I wanted to rib you this morning. I woke up thinking that Raheem is always going to say, hey, we got to get out of here. We got to get out of here. We got to get out of here.
No.
Because it's so rich. Okay. So that's a new T-shirt. We got to get out of here.
Got to get out of here. Exactly. I want to we're talking about this morning, and then I want to hear your heart on this too. Do self-love block love for others? And the reason why I'm saying that is this: if you say that if Annette Jackson says that I have $1 billion, I'm gonna help my community first. I'm gonna make sure I elevate my community first. Is that saying that you hate everybody else? And it's not saying that you're not gonna help everybody else, but you say I want to concentrate. I want this to be my focal point first. Does self-love mean that you hate everybody else?
No. And sometimes we tie, I'm an English major from Spelman College. Sometimes we tie phrases into two different thoughts. So what you said is really two different thoughts, right? Because self-love, if you have the money, first of all, you can spend your money the way that you choose to. Okay. So how is it that when Black America decides that they want to spend their money the way that they want to, because they're the largest consumers in the world and people make money off a lot of money off of Black America, but when they decide to do it, then it becomes an issue. No, we have to stop that, because you want everybody to buy your product. The same way with Walmart, you know, that's why it was created, because they knew that they would be the monopoly. Now Walmart is joining with, I think, Albertsons, and I think, or it might be Kroger, to do a top-notch grocery store, because Whole Foods and Sprouts. But here's the thing. No, Black America needs to say that, you know, we are superior. And that has nothing to do with hate. It has everything to do with, let's really get in the game of business. I find that we're not really in the game of business because we don't understand emerging markets, and we don't understand capital markets. And we don't understand what it means to have a business and trade in business. Everybody around the nation is trading off of us and trading on products, trading on services all around the country. Even you have a system for trading with prison companies, okay? You have a Wall Street designation for every single prison in this nation. So there's so much, Raheem, to really say about that. And I just say, hey, maybe Black America should get in the prison system to really stop all this stuff that's going on, and really get in the game of learning that trade.
Wow. Let me go to Mary. Somebody blowing a horn over there. Mary, are you there?
I am here.
Can you comment on this?
What's the topic?
Does self-love block love for others? If Mary, you're a billionaire, you say I want to help my community first. Does that mean that you hate everybody else, or you're against everybody else? What do you say to that?
Wait. Which question am I answering? Does self-love affect you helping others, or helping my community first and then others?
Does self-love block? The topic is, does self-love block our love for others? But I gave you a description of what I meant when I said that.
In general, no, I don't think self-love. I feel like people's definition of self-love is different. Mine is just you loving yourself, and I feel like you can't love somebody else unless you love yourself not correctly, because you don't even know what it is. Realistically, if you can't say all the reasons you love yourself, then it's kind of odd that you can say all the reasons you love someone else, but you live with you 24/7. So you know yourself more than you know anybody else, because you hear your thoughts and we don't. So I think you have to love yourself before loving someone else. But as opposed to helping your community and then going abroad, I think that's how it should go, because what's the sense of helping another community and then yours is continuously crumbling? I think you should work on in the house and then going outside the neighborhood and fixing that up too. But you got to start. I think everything should start internally first. So.
Wow. That's powerful. That's powerful, because a lot of times, like you say, you gotta, in order to love yourself, you gotta know how to love yourself, and you can't love anybody else around you if you don't love yourself. Let me go to Rico, then I'm gonna go back to Ibrahim. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very important for you to love yourself and to love your people. Especially when it's been established that you belong to these people. But that doesn't mean you have to stop loving somebody else, and it's going to take away from somebody else. I mean, I believe in giving assistance. Once again, when you see people need attention, need concern, they need some compassion, they need a little love and care. Yeah, I got a little love to give everybody. I mean, it doesn't hurt to give a little bit. In helping yourself, like I said, loving yourself is very important. That you love yourself. I feel like this, for anybody to have a problem with me loving myself or wanting to invest in my community, you know what I'm saying? They have to have some type of agenda or purpose behind that. Now, I would be very offended if a person did get mad at me wanting to invest back into my community when I know that my community has not been equally exposed to resources. I had opportunities of access, and especially when I know this firsthand.
Yeah.
But sometimes, you know, we might get distracted. You know, when you say loving yourself, what type of love are you talking about? Is it healthy or is it unhealthy? You know, what is it that you're really loving about yourself, and how you treating other people in the process of you loving yourself? You can love yourself a little too much to the point of where you don't love anybody else. So, I mean, you know, I get where people may think that. But if it comes down to me saying that I need to support my community, first off, I identify that way because I was put into this condition where race and color was put on, a label was put on you like that. Look, when I was young, I can remember when I first realized I was black. I heard it, but I didn't really understand what it meant until some white people showed me.
Wow.
Some white people showed me in the most simple way, and it didn't make sense to me. I was like, man, why they won't let the little boy keep playing with? We was in Kmart playing with some toys. And they told the little boy he couldn't play with me because I was an N word, but I was young, man. I was real young, and I heard what they said, but I really didn't know what it meant. So these are conditions that are created that we end up having to adapt and conform to where we are not brainwashed to think that there are not elements in place that capitalizes off us and doesn't want us to pay attention to the fact that we have value. You know, I can remember looking at the posters of Farrah Fawcett and Bo Derek, and I thought, man, that's the sign of beauty. I want me somebody to look like that. And I was overlooking Foxy Brown. Pam Grier. Because I was being brainwashed into what's beautiful, what's pretty, what's acceptable. And on top of that, being told, you can't because you black. You this because you're black. So you start getting misprogrammed with this thing, and then you have to find out how to wake up from it. Exactly. Now, I can't say this. Kanye West has been saying something about the system that the Jews have in place by profiting off of us and putting certain music into society that's bad for our community, promoting tearing up our families. He spoke on that. Now, if he didn't speak about what other people were doing, those Jews, then we wouldn't know the reason why we should pay attention to investing in our community. See, right now we have to admit too that we're in a campaign of trying to convince people to buy black. Our own people.
30 seconds.
They don't understand why. But if you break it down and tell them what these other people have done and how they're profiting off of us and how we contribute so much to this economy, but our community doesn't have anything to show for it, but the Jewish and the Asians and the Italians and everybody else, they benefit off of it. They practice this. The Jews, they practice this. They go get their rights. They go and fight for Holocaust victims. They get justice.
Exactly.
They get so now we in the process now where we in an environment where we had to come up with a slogan and a group that says Black Lives Matter too. Imagine that. Imagine having to explain to people what being courteous is and that it's okay to open doors up for people. If you don't know, then you won't even realize that it exists. So I think it's important for us to talk about what the other people did and the creations that exist, because some people don't realize these conditions exist and that we do need to invest in us.
Absolutely.
Why it's so important that we invest in us. That it ain't just a trend or a cool thing, but it's important for group economics and to get out of this domination that you might not realize you're under.
Good deal. We're going to get out of here, man. We had 2:59. We had 2:59 in 30 seconds. But I want to go back to Ibrahim. Ibrahim, you say you're offended. What are you offended about, brother?
Well, I'm offended a couple of things. But let me start prefacing why I'm offended. New Black Panther Party called themselves the original Black Panther Party. Even though they were started off by a gentleman that started calling himself the Nation of Islam, New Black Panther Party. And they say that, oh, I was in the Black Panther Party. And I said, when you start?
Let me
Oh,
ask
I was
Ibrahim.
in the 80s.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay,
Let me
now,
Ibrahim. Let me ask you a question, brother. Because with time, is this a conversation that maybe I should pull? Maybe you and Muhammad, all three of us talk solo by ourselves. Is this a conversation we should have that way instead of on air, live on air like this? Do you think that would be more appropriate? Because I think your comment is geared toward
the
captain.
Talk about it afterwards, but as things were brought out there, I think that's important me to make 3 quick points, right? And that's about why black matters. And we should be embarrassed about it, and what people are doing and not doing. Sometimes people minimize it this area of time. The other thing was that I was going to say, and like I said, we can talk about it after to the brother captain. I'm familiar with a guy named A. Akbar Muhammad, right? Who was the diplomat to Africa during Elijah Muhammad and Farrakhan's reign, right? During the Nation of Islam. And the Nation of Islam broke up in 3 parts when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad died. And Elijah Muhammad reigned more in my lifetime than a lot of people's lifetime. You come to 72, you kind of come to the end of his reign. People were familiar with him, including my father, Malcolm X, over there when they were still in power and reign in the Nation of Islam. Okay, let me digress. Another thing is that very seldom hear Muslims say, is what Leonard said, that about the inclusion of all races. Well, he didn't talk to Muslims. He talked to a group that was designated to do a particular thing to win the hearts and minds of people in a certain way that were Christians, and to equate them with a very minute part of Islam. Now, Malcolm X became a Sunni Muslim, right? And he talked about on his heart about the inclusion of people, all races, coming to the heart.
Wrap it up for me, Ibrahim. We got to get out of here. Wrap it up for me, brother.
So this is not a thing. Other thing is that we should be proud of our black people, of what they're doing and what they are doing now. But in order to turn around and separate us from the greatness of who we are and what we have accomplished, what we're accomplishing today, you ride around down some of these neighborhoods and you will see extreme wealth. You'll see houses of unproportioned size and prosperity that black people live in. And at the same time, as Marcus Garvey said, he came in March 25th, 1917 in Atlanta, he's seen the extreme poverty of black people.
Okay. Finish your point, brother, because we got to get out of here. I'm gonna give Captain a chance to respond to what you're saying, then we're gonna get out of here.
Go beyond, not way back to the age, but go beyond what you think you know and expand your knowledge to what is.
Wow.
All right. Okay. And we can talk later.
Okay. Good deal. Captain, you want to say something to what he said, or you want me to close the broadcast?
Yeah. Well, let me say this. I don't believe Elijah Muhammad's dead, number one. And I'm not with what had happened with the Imam. You're right. The nation did break up. You talked about we don't have farm. We do have farmland now. Everything that we had acquired under Elijah Muhammad, we still got it today. So I don't know what you're talking. I came in 1972, and I'm still with Elijah Muhammad 52 years later. And I'm not talking about what I used to be. Used to be don't make no more honey. But we will get off the line because I don't think it was no offense to you. I didn't say nothing directly about you. I'm just stating certain facts. And I'm just defending who I am and what I represent. It's hard for me to tell you what you represent. If you into one thing, the New Black Panther Party, I ain't agree with Brother Carter when he started that. You know, how you going to take us call the New Black Panther the original? No, it's the original. And I'm down with the original. The New Black Panther Party, yeah. But anyway, I hope I didn't mean to offend you, Brother Ibrahim. I mean, if I did, forgive me. It was no intent. Believe me, I don't have that kind of heart, my brother. You're a Muslim. And a Muslim is one who wants for his brother what he wants for himself. So I'm sorry. If I offend you, please accept my apology because there was no dig on my part. Thank you, Brother Ryan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Rico, what's going on at 3 o'clock today, sir?
If you missed today's broadcast and would like to hear us see the rebroadcast in its entirety, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dkmmediagroup.com.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, and somebody say put it out there. Oh, yeah, my Cash App is $ DKM Radio. Somebody told me to put it back up. I'm gonna say it. I ain't gonna put it back up. I'm gonna say it. It's $ DKM Radio. That's what it is. That's the Cash App. $ DKM Radio. But before I do anything else, I got to say, Willa!
Hey, Raheem, come on, let's go.
Willa, are you ready?
Raheem, I am so ready to receive God's word. Let's go.
Well, you know
let's
what?
Go, Raheem.
I'm only going to say one more thing. Let's go.
Let's go. Come on, y'all. Let's all go together, Lord. Come on, let's all go with humble hearts and bow down heads. Father, we thank you this morning for allowing us to get up this morning. Thank you, Lord. You didn't have to do it, Lord, but you did it. And Father, I thank you for giving me another opportunity to get it right with you. Father, I thank you for all you do in our lives. I'm asking you, oh Lord, to touch those who are requesting prayer this morning, Lord. Father, I don't know who it is, but Father, I believe that you do because you are an omnipresent God. Father, you are all-powerful God. Father, you're all-knowing God. And Father, we love you for it. We thank you for the Holy Spirit manifesting and dwelling in our lives, oh Lord. We thank you for allowing the Holy Spirit to lead us, guide us, direct us, and show us your ways. We thank you, Lord, for the Holy Spirit, for showing us the love to give one another. I thank you, Lord. I honor you. I glorify you, and I praise you in Jesus' name. Amen, amen, and amen. I thank you, Lord. Hallelujah.
Yes, Lord. Yes. It's been a great broadcast, y'all. I want to thank everybody for joining us. More than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your morning. It is now, 10:30. It's just turned to 10:30. It's 10:30. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. Now we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day, and please, please, please be blessed. Love you. Talk to you tomorrow. God say the same. Have a great day, and be blessed.